26.
Here's a surprising fact. The average person will spend 1.3 years of their life just doing this. No, not washing the car. Not what you think. No, it's working out what to watch on the telly. Huh? Surprising, right? But don't panic. You can save a lot of that time on ABC iView. Jaw-dropping comedy, eye-popping drama, and all the mind-blowing telly you could wish for. Download the app now on your phone, tablet or smart TV. ABC iView. Don't be surprised if you're surprised.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Saturday night on the Gold Coast, the continuation of round 17 of this 2021 AFL season. That's right, we are at Carrara, not the Gabba. Such are the nuances of the time that, the traffic light system in Victoria and its COVID complications ensured that Dane Zorko, the Brisbane captain, celebrates his 200th game in the city where he started his football career as a Surfers Paradise Demon, and then at the Broadbeach Cats, working away for so many years before he would eventually get picked up by Brisbane, having been on the list yet overlooked by the Suns. And here he is now, a 200-game player. Important that Lachie Neale is back for Brisbane tonight and Zach Jones coming back for the Saints. There is some very late news here, by the way. Dean Kent is going to play because Mason Wood, who we did see warm up, has pulled out with a hamstring injury. So Kent is into the team for the Saints, and no changes for the selected team for Brisbane with Reece Matheson, the injury sub. My name's Quentin Hull. I'm calling alongside Michael Price, Lauren Arnell and Jeff White. Zane Bojack is down on the boundary, and as ever, you're a welcome part of our broadcast. Strap in, because we've got a long night ahead of us here at the footy and then into the Barty Party later on tonight. If you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774 is the SMS number. That's 0437 774 774. Welcome back from the desert, AFLW Premiership star Lauren Arnell.
Thank you, Q.
Your photos were beautiful.
Very, very fortunate to have spent a little bit of time out in the desert over the school holidays. So, yeah, back to normality and calling the footy, and so excited to see Ash Barty later on tonight, hopefully get the win at Wimbledon.
Jeff White, always good to see you, former number one draft pick. Now, what do we make of St Kilda?
I wasn't, good to be here. Evening, everyone.
Toughest question at the front of it. Should have beaten Sydney, should have beaten Adelaide, had the bye, flogged Richmond, and should have flogged Collingwood, but cogged down and only won by 9 points.
That's what I was really disappointed with, the way they finished off last week. It's almost like they waved the white flag. They knew they were going to win, and it was sort of a, hey, he'll do that sort of mentality. Whereas the way Brisbane finished last week, wow, they put their foot down and they just continued to roll. So I was really impressed by the way they finished last week. Brisbane wasn't really impressed with the way the Saints, and like you said, Q, have been up and down this year, very inconsistent. So they don't want to do that tonight against Brisbane. And give you the tip, they'll find it very hard to come back. And of course, St Kilda fighting for a place in the 8 with a 7-win, 8-loss record, but the form of the Bulldogs, the form of your lot, ensures that Brisbane's quest for a top 2 finish, they can't ease back at all. No, that race can't. For the top 2 is really on in earnest. Correct. And it's
same with Geelong as well.
Same with Geelong, what they did today, yeah. So it's all there for them, and these are the games that go in as favourite. As we always say, you go in as favourite, you want to make sure you own it, and they've got to obviously, they've been interrupted, not at the Gabba, but looks like there's a good crowd's rolled in, so looking forward to this contest. Well, let's get the assessment of conditions from the North Queenslander here on a crisp Gold Coast evening. Zane Bojack, how are you?
It certainly is crisp, Q, no doubt about that. It's 15 degrees, but it feels more like 13, and that's because there's a stiff breeze blowing out of the west, and it's bringing in a little bit of coolness. I can tell you the surface doesn't look overly dewy as a result of that wind, but I don't think it's going to affect the contest too much tonight. There's a nice coverage of green in the turf, and when Dane Zorko ran onto this turf, there was a nice cheer from the crowd that's here. Look, it's mostly on that far wing and down at the southern end where Brisbane will be kicking towards in the first quarter after winning the toss. Dane Zorko in his 200th. Sad that it's not at Brisbane, but pretty handy that it's here on the Gold Coast.
Good on you, Zane. That SMS number again is 0437 774 774. Michael Price, good evening to you. On the quick run-in, your first job is to call the opening bounce.
Thanks very much, Q. An exciting game ahead of us here. The Brisbane Lions sitting third on the ladder against St Kilda 11th. Oscar McInerney to go up against Paddy Ryder, enjoying 60% success in hit-outs. And he does it again, this time sharked by Lions for the Lions. Handball back to Zorko. Instantly inside 50. The contest from McStay is good. The ball spills at centre-half forward. McCarthy couldn't pick it up. Saints through Wilkie. Wilkie on the right shoe, gets it to the wing. Starcevic for the Lions, gets there first. Pushed in the back as he handballs it forward to Lions. Lions back to Bailey, hooking it around and getting it inside 50. And it's Hipwood playing in front there of Wilkie. Takes a chest mark. 45 out. Angle to the left, the Lions on a flyer to start.
That's where the Saints just that attack the defence mentality. They've got to get back quicker and turn their heads. And Hipwood was inside forward 50 by himself just then.
So Hipwood around about 51% goal kicking accuracy at the season 2021. He's got 26 goals, 19. He'll let this go from 50. Right on 50, nice looking left footer. He's hooked a little bit as it's got the carry it has, but just a little wide. One behind results. First score of the game, 1 minute played. First quarter, the Lions got it behind. Saints get the score.
And no Mason Wood. That's the very late out for St Kilda with a hamstring injury. So Dean Kent coming into the team for the Saints.
Blood rule for Dan McStay, I think.
Yeah, just a
first contest.
Bit of a delay there. So Webster starts play with a handball to Hill in the back pocket. Chips it wide to Sinclair. Takes the mark for St Kilda. Just inside defensive. 50 at right half back. Sinclair kicks around the boundary. Not a great bounce there for Ross, but he gathered well on the half volley. Under pressure, turned over though. Lions for Brisbane. Hands to Robinson. Hand pass back to attacking 50's a rumbler. And Hill sees it out of play with enough intent to ensure it's a throw-in and not a free kick. Certainly a bit of fizz taken out of the atmosphere with this game being played at Carrara. It would have been humming at the Gabba tonight with one of the club favourites playing game 200. From the boundary throw-in, Bailey a chance for Brisbane. Got it to his boot, poked it to the pocket, and Jared Lyons gets to the drop to mark. 25 out.
Bit of a concern for St Kilda early. They've just tried to handball chain, as you called, Q, and Lions with a really heavy defensive press high up the ground, squashing it into their forward half.
The number 7 man for contested possessions in the comp, Jared Lyons. He's had an exceptional year. 2 steps infield, right foot snap. Misses everything almost, just squeezes in for a point. 2 behinds to no score. Brisbane in front through 2.5 minutes after the Cats beat the Blues by 26 points and the Dockers by 62 in Tassie earlier today.
So it's Tom Highmore to bring the ball back in for St Kilda. Takes it into the pocket to find Wilkie. Wilkie on the left foot now, outside 50. That's a great kick. To clear defensive 50, finding McKenzie, who goes laterally. 15 metres and Dunstan has the mark. Right on the point of the centre square. Puts it back into the corridor. Sinclair drops what he might have taken. Pressured off it by Neal. Coleman back to... It was McCluggage inside 50. Slapped away from Danaher. St Kilda defence with the ascendancy. They might have got a free kick there anyway. Sinclair gets it out to McKenzie now. Scrubby kick to the wing. It's put pressure on the late inclusion in Kent. He can't pick it up. Payne does for Brisbane. He's tackled immediately by Crouch. Ball stuck underneath. And we'll ball it up right in front of the interchange gates.
Whitey, bit of a balance between really poor St Kilda disposal and the Lions' pressure.
Ball thrown up on the wing. Marshall with the tap down, but Neil the road for Brisbane. A spin and hand pass to McCluggage. Clearance for the Lions. Kick to half forward. Danaher has to spoil away from Howard. Ball on the deck. Cameron lurking. It's shunted to the pocket. Howard and Cameron go again. Cameron got it. Howard got him. Great tackle over the boundary line for a throw-in in the left forward pocket for Brisbane. Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, Dan McStay's going to be okay, but wow, he had to put a lot of cotton into that nose of his because it was absolutely pouring out claret, and then he tried to spit out water and it was all red as well. But he looks like he's okay to come back out.
Throw in left forward pocket for Brisbane. Marshall did brilliantly in the ruck. Took it away from Danaher. Kick was half smothered though, intercepted by Hipwood on the 50 for Brisbane. He lets loose the ball. It's picked up there by Butler. He was tackled, did the 360. The ball spills out. They're going at it again, Bailey, and then it's tapped over the line. St Kilda could have been pinged for a deliberate. Well, I suppose if the Brisbane fans had their way, there will be a throw-in. Almost 40 out.
Well, Saints haven't got the ball into attack yet. 5 inside 50s for Brisbane, none to St Kilda. Marshall clean possession from the throw-in for the Saints, but his hand pass doesn't find a rover, so he has to go in and tackle himself to neutralise once more. Good second effort from the Saints' big man, wrapping up Mitch Robinson to earn another neutral. Left half forward for Brisbane on attacking 50. They're attacking the southern end in this first term at Carrara, not the Gabba. It's Ross with the clearance for the Saints. That ball bounced the second time. He gathers, kicks to the wing. Andrews leads King to the ball and taps it out of play.
We could say it's a pretty boring start to this game of footy, guys, but the Saints have got 2 extra in their defensive 50, which means the Lions have got 2 extra as the ball comes out, so it's just flicking back in.
The throw-in just forward of centre wing out of side for Brisbane. McInerney behind Marshall gets it down. Seb Ross for St Kilda gets there first. Gave it to Dunstan, now back to Steele, back to Dunstan on the left foot. It's a long kick down the outer wing, spoiled by Harris Andrews, beautifully rode for the Saints. Mackenzie has it on the logo. The run of Hill in the corridor. He's got a man free at left half forward and finds him. It's Membry and the left foot. Sorry, it was Kent, the late inclusion, through the hands of Paddy Ryder. Oh, he showed great dexterity to get back, slap the ball to Mackenzie. They've got a chance still, the Saint. Burns, back to Kent, into the pocket, and Daniel Rich cuts in front of Max King. They've still got a chance with the ball. Harris Andrews took it and King took him over the boundary line.
A little bit better from the Saints. I know when they first had their outside their defensive 50, they tried to square it back in the middle. So at least they're trying to go through the corridor, which they tried to do then.
First entry into attack for the Saints. Brisbane 2 behinds. Boundary throw in. Beats the ruckman. Payne has to play rover for Brisbane. On hands and knees. Hand pass stolen by Crouch. Gave it to Marshall. He's tackled. No Pryor. Ball up with St Kilda still in attack. 30 metres from the northern goal that they're attacking. Tossed in the air by the umpire. Big fist from Oscar McInerney, the birthday boy, to knuckle it towards the boundary, but picked up by Membry of St Kilda. Kick back to the corridor, but straight to Rich, who takes the defensive mark 30 metres from the goal he's defending for Brisbane.
Daniel Rich averaging 620 metres gained with the foot. And this time there's a free kick as he puts it into the corridor. Zorko will take it. Handball over to Jared Lyons, now to the run of Birchall. He delivers a beautifully measured pass to Kadeem Coleman on the outer wing. On the Narang River side of the ground. 30-metre kick is misdirected. It was just in between 2 Brisbane players and cut off easily by Dougal Howard for St Kilda.
Kicks it to the wing, Burns the target, Starcevic the spoil, and he picks up his crumb, Starcevic, although he offended over the shoulder on Ryan Burns. So a free kick to the Saints on the outer wing. Gorgeous, clear, crisp conditions for this Saturday night fixture on the Gold Coast. As Burns kicks St Kilda to half forward. 2-on-2, King arrives to take a strong mark for the Saints, perhaps just beyond his range. 60 out at half forward. Entry is on the head of Rich. Membry had to play spoiler. Did. Spoiled it down to Dunstan. Grubbing ball looking for Marshall. Intercepted by Zorko. Tackled, dispossessed. Play on. Lions. Hospital hand pass to Adams, who's tackled in the pocket. And the Saints have earned a ball up. Lovely work from Steele to wrap his body around the large frame of Marcus Adams in the right forward pocket for the Saints.
Number 2 tackler in the AFL, Jack Steele, as the contest happens in the ruck, and it's just the ruckman's feet will do it all again from a similar spot. The Saints themselves actually number 1 in the AFL for tackles inside 50. It's not reflecting on the scoreboard though. This time Billings throws a foot at it. Was a fresh air shot picked up by Steele. He's tackled into the ground immediately. It was actually Starcevic, and the umpire says it was a little bit too rough in the slinging department. He was dumped into the ground. It'll be a free kick that'll go to Steele 20 metres out on a sharp angle.
I know it's a free kick and they got a set shot now, but their pressure in and around the ball at the moment is really, really good from the Saints. Very balanced as well.
He didn't have both arms pinned there.
He had one arm pinned, and he did about a 180.
Didn't they look at the head as well?
Yeah.
It was a bit of a slingshot.
So Jack Steele,
The concern,
originally from the Belconnen Club, will get their cue. He's going to take this from 40 metres. The right foot is across the face. It hits the post. 2/3 of the way up, the left goal post. Saints 1 behind, the Lions 2 behinds. We've played nearly 9.5 minutes of the first term.
Birchall's going to kick in for Brisbane, and he directs it out to the left half back flank, and an acre for Starcevic to take the mark on defensive 50. He'll play on with a kick down the Narang River wing, precise for Robinson. Mark or front on spoil. The ump's going to pay the latter. Seb Ross coming in late. And then there's a bit of a to-do after the play, with Lions being tackled pretty fiercely by Dan Butler. And it's going to be a 50-metre penalty against Butler. Dunstan's trying to get into Lions as well. All the while, Mitch Robinson's just got the Sharon in hand and is wandering up towards the half-forward flank. And where's the ump going to stop? Oh, that's a good-looking 50, that.
Fair bit closer to 60 metres, isn't it, Q?
The man on the mark's only 40 metres out now. I thought real estate was pretty pricey here on the Gold Coast. Apparently not, for a 50-metre penalty for Mitch Robinson. He's in range now. He'll set sail from about 50 metres out. Slight angle to the left. We're yet to have a goal through 10.5 minutes. Can Mitch Robinson change that for Brisbane? On the right boot, he's hit that terribly. That was a low skimmer. That's fat out of the face of the club, Jeff, to use golfing terms.
Yeah, it was a low hook, wasn't it? But he ran around on a bit of an arc instead of actually going straight through it. So
3 points to 1 point. I hope the inaccurate kicking of this round is not coming here.
Well, 6 inside 50s to 2, so they're both operating at 50%, which isn't bad as scoring goes. The St Kilda come out of defensive 50 through Brad Hill. It's a sky ball towards the wing. Courageous effort there. Well done from Burns. Playing on now. It's give it to Kent. Kent long inside 50 on the 50 arc. It's Ben Long. He dropped it before acceptance, as the umpire said. Play on. Ryder slaps it forward. Zach Jones can't pick it up. There was Madden, the Irishman for Brisbane. Indiscriminate handball outside defensive 50, looking for Coleman, but Kent takes it across the line and we'll get a throw in at left half forward.
Now we're at the venue, Zane, so do you want to tell everyone who's trying to call the game here from remote, looking at the screen and looking at the low scores and starting to just make up whether or not the Jew's here? So you can tell us whether the Jew's here or not in a moment. Ryder taps down to Dunstan. High contact against McCarthy. Free kick St Kilda. What do you reckon, Zane? We're here. We can say about the Jew.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great surface tonight for him to play footy on.
OK, there you go. Take it from those that are at the ground. Dunstan kicks inside 50. Robinson uses the fist to punch it away. Ground level, roved by the Saints. Highmore, his hand pass goes out the back to Webster, 60 from goal. Under pressure, kicks it wide to the flank. Bounces for Butler. He's corralled by Andrews. Mongrel kick inside 50. Went straight to Adams at Brisbane. Dropped it. Then got his toe to it. Ump said play on. Adams goes again. Robertson picks up the messy ball, gives it to Rich. Brisbane are out. That's a mongrel sack of a kick to the wing. Oh, that Jew, that non-existent Jew's a shocker here. Lions gives the hand pass to Hipwood. Pricey, you'll go.
Hipwood over to Mitch Robinson on the left foot, under pressure, long to the wing. Highmore, nicely spoiled by McStay, but Highmore butted up and gathered the crumb. Got it to Wilkie. Wilkie handballs forward now to Ross on the left foot, looking for Max King, doubling back. Harris Andrews spoils. Front and centre was Paddy Ryder. Got the handball away. It was intercepted by Payne for Brisbane. Gave it to Archie. Under pressure, sky ball towards half-back. Bailey versus Highmore. And the ball goes off both sets of hands over the boundary line. Right half forward for the Saints. We'll get a throw in.
I know I've been on holidays, but it feels like one of those games where both clubs have come back from a bye. It's really scrappy, but part of that's because the pressure's so high.
Lauren Arnell with you on Grandstand AFL. 3 points to 1 point. Brisbane in front. We've played 13 minutes. No clearance from the throw-in at left half-back for the Saints. Right half-forward for Brisbane. We'll do it all again.
I'll just say this. The Saints have come to play.
Yep.
They are right on. They are in and under. They're
Lincoln McCarthy's
free kick now. They're sucking Brisbane in.
Yeah. Dunstan's got in his face, and they've targeted McCarthy there. Dunstan with the free kick from 60. Kicks to full forward. Membry from behind has to spoil down. Rovers are there for Brisbane though. Starcevic picks up, tumbling, hoping clearance to the middle of the ground. The bounce evades McStay. Picked up by Howard of St Kilda. Hands it to Dunstan. His chip to Jones. Back in the team, first game since round 8. He kicks the Saints into attack and King on the lead. Marks in front of Danaher, who's back there. And Ben King's got a chance from 45 metres out hard on the boundary.
Saints pressure, as Jeff has been saying, it's been exceptional. It's causing some decisions and some disposal that I haven't seen from the Lions all year coming out of their back half.
They're forcing, they're just rush kicks every time. They're not using the ball and hand passing it.
I knew that had happened. I said Ben King, didn't I? Not Max King. Same venue, different brother. It's Max King for the Saints from the boundary, near side. Out of bounds on the full. 3 points, plays 1 point. Brisbane in front.
Just to back up what you said, Loz and Whitey, the Lions, 56% disposal efficiency at the moment, under a lot of pressure from the Saints as Daniel Rich brings it out to left half-back McCluggage. He wants to find the run of Rich, who kept going. Chiselling pass to Danaher was intercepted by Zach Jones. Diving effort, well done. Fisted it over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in between half forward and the outer wing for the Saints. Here's the throw in now. Marshall versus Danaher. Marshall front position. Got it down. Neal for Brisbane. Got himself to the ball first. Pushed away an opponent and then got the handball to McCarthy. Back to Mitch Robertson. Standing start inside 50. Connolly couldn't go for Saints. Bailey could. His kick half smothered. Sinclair got back there, so did Coleman. He ran over the ball. McCluggage missed his target in Bailey with the handball. Saints with a chance through Jack Steele. Hands and knees to Sinclair, to Wilkie. They're out, but it's going to come back. Here comes Jack Payne in towards Dunstan. Intercepted the ball. Rich, his ball intercepted. Not hitting targets. McCluggage tackled by Kent. Game on. Low scoring. Plenty of pressure. Ball up just forward of the centre circles for Brisbane.
I see a fair bit of frustration starting to build. Mitch Robinson, senior player, just trying to get it long inside 50 a bit faster.
Marshall, brilliant tap down to Jones, who slips the Neal tackle, hands it back to Marshall in the bullseye. Kicks the Saints, a tumbling ball to attacking 50 out on the flank. 2 on 2. There's a free kick going against Butler for pushing Starcevic in the back.
Didn't really need to do that. It was sort of 3 on 1.
So Starcevic chips it to McCluggage, who takes the mark on defensive 50. Hugh McCluggage looks backwards to Rich, kicks it to him. And Daniel Rich is going to try and set things up from just forward to full back. Another short pass to Madden. Takes the mark. His chip. Oh, bit of pressure on McCluggage. Not well directed. Long makes the spoil, but it went straight to Adams of Brisbane. They do get out of jail. Adams mops up. Kicks it to Payne. Payne chips it to Danaher. Brisbane just trying to hold a bit of the footy here. And Joe's a long way from home, just forward of left half back. He plays on and runs the Nerang River wing. Danaher's kick is beautiful for Devon Robertson. Marks at a kick and a half from goal at left half forward. Joe ran on, received the footy, kicks it deep, but straight to Wilkie there in the goal mouth. He can tap it down for St Kilda to Billings. Time in the pocket for the exit. The kick to defensive 50 goes beyond the intended target of Burns. Kent comes to help out. In fact, it's the other tattooed one, Membry. Player to advantage. Burns kicks them clear.
Contest now between Harris Andrews and Max King. King outpointed Andrews, took the mark, wheeled around onto the right foot. Ben Long interfered with by Daniel Rich. He was worried about the extra height and agility on Long. He gets the free kick on the paint of 50, 45-degree angle to the left. Just about every player now getting back inside defensive 50 for Brisbane as Long wheels around onto the right, gets to the top of the square. Big contest off hands, following it back. Mitch Robinson for Brisbane escorts it through the behinds. And another point for the Saints. 3 behinds to Brisbane, 2 to the Saints. 18 gone first quarter as Brisbane come out and hit Marcus Adams on the paint of 50.
It was Robinson with the quick kick in there. Usually we see Dan Rich in that role. But here's Marcus Adams. 14th consecutive game for the ex-Bulldog, finally getting himself fit. Chips to McCluggage. His kick to the wing is poor by a man of his standards. To the bottom of a leading player who's now jumped on. And the umpire will come in and call for a ball up as Highmore made the tackle on McCarthy. Still in the Saints attacking half between wing and right half forward for St Kilda on that outer side. Jones roves the pack for the Saints. Hand pass out the back to Ross. Clearance for St Kilda. Ross's kick over the head of Marshall. At the feet of Andrews, had a fumble. Marshall picks up. Hands it to Billings from 50. Screwed kick to the corridor. Half volleyed and fumbled by Adams. He got it back. His hand pass went to Steele, who plays for the opposition. Hands it to Jones. Spin and a swivel. And now a pass to the pocket to the chest of Long. Beautiful play in the end from the returning Zach Jones to give Ben Long a chance in the right forward pocket. Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, penny for the thoughts of Dane Zorko and Jared Lyons. They're here on the boundary line queue, and I can tell you they're very confused with why the Brisbane Lions exits have been so poor and why their kicking efficiency is down so much.
So here's a chance for Ben Long to kick just his second goal of the season. It would be the first of the night. We played 19 minutes of Carrara. Tough angle for the Territorian, and he's left it near side. 4 are behind to level the scores at 3 apiece. I know we've got the tennis later on, but 3-all is a tennis score, not an AFL score that you prefer, Michael Price.
No, that's exactly right, Q. I think we'll have it rectified, but not presently, as Daniel Rich comes out of the goal square, hits Harris Andrews, who immediately goes back to Daniel Rich, onto the left foot, and back to Payne. Now they're going to play on. Payne goes out to the outer wing, looking there for Archie. It was cut off beautifully by Wilkie, who ended up kicking it inside 50. Crouch took the mark. It was another kick that sat on the head of the Lions players, and St Kilda had the advantage, and Brad Crouch is going to have a shot at goal from 40 metres out.
There's been many times where Brisbane's come out of their defence and they're looking for their short kick, and there's just no movement whatsoever. The ones that they're seeing is that they're putting under the pump is St Kilda, and that's why they're getting the intercept marks.
First 5 inside 50s to Brisbane, 11-3 to St Kilda since then.
Yeah,
He's
just controlling the game.
Been averaging 26 disposals a game since he came from Adelaide. Brad Crouch, 45 metres out, leans back. Have we got the first goal of the game? We have. St Kilda on the board. 1-3-9 plays 3 straight behinds after 21 minutes of the first term.
Well, the first few minutes of the game, we saw the Lions repeat inside 50s, and I think I said the Lions had just set up really strongly defensively in their front half, but since then it's been all the Saints, 11 inside 50s to 8, and just that elite forward half pressure and the midfield pressure the Saints are able to apply for the Lions. I haven't seen the Lions defence this rattled all season, certainly probably not even into last year. So really impressive start from the Saints. Finally they get the one they deserve through Crouch now, through the goals, but I think you mentioned, boys, Zorko and Lyons on the bench, and Birchall as well over that last sort of 5-6 minute patch. They'll be pretty happy to have those guys back on, some more experienced heads, but be pretty happy if you're a Saints fan watching this. They're doing the minimum required, which is bringing elite pressure. Lauren
Arnell with you on Grandstand AFL. 1-3 to 3 behinds, wobbly bounce in the middle. Saints with the lead. Up lets it go, even though neither ruckman had a telling play at it. Free kick to Neil at the clearance for Brisbane. Hands to Zorko. Quick rush kick to half forward. Downfield free kick. Zorko was dumped after he got rid of it by Zach Jones. So Kadeen Coleman, who'd probably marked it anyway, takes it 50 out. Kicks to the big fella, Oscar McInerney. Didn't get first touch. Even though it's your birthday, can't pay that big O. He gets a hand pass away. McCluggage gives to Dev Robertson. Snap kick. Half volleyed by Hipwood without great dexterity. And now the men pile in the pocket, and the umpire will call for a bounce. Yes, 27 years of age today for the big O, but you still got to touch it first if you want to claim a mark.
Exactly right. The former shower screen installer. And Danaher grabs it out of the ruck, has a wild ping with the left foot. It goes through for one behind. 4 straight behinds the Lions, 1-3-9 to the Saints. 5 points the margin as St Kilda brings it back in with Dunstan. Dunstan on the Payne of 50, kicks it to the wing. 1-on-1, Marshall v Andrews. Marshall did well. Andrews gathered it though, gets tackled, still got a handball away. Zorko under pressure from Long, holding the ball. Great tackle, Ben Long just forward of the centre wing here on the commentary side of Carrara.
They have come hot tonight, the Saints. It's a very positive opening from them with this pressure. Long just forward of the wing, kicks St Kilda into attack again. 2-on-2, fist at a ground level. Neil tackled as soon as he roved. Beautiful clean hands on the rove, but a vice-like grip from McKenzie on the Brownlow medalist forces another neutral.
Love the intent from the Saints.
It's looking good, isn't it, Lauren? Marshall with the tap down to Jones. He's tackled by Archie, and Zorko no prior, another baller.
They're really playing on the edge. Every tackle they make, they're absolutely following through. They're making sure the Lions know who they're playing against.
McInerney with the tap down to Zorko. Here's the exit for Brisbane. From D50, kick towards the wing, goes beyond Danaher. Saints there at the mop-up. Webster close to the boundary line, rides the tackle of McCarthy. Hand pass infield to Connolly. Kick to attacking 50 towards the chest of Marshall. Fisted away by McInerney. Close to the boundary line, Brisbane there in numbers. Andrews with the hand pass through Archie and to McCluggage, who's now got space at right half back.
McCluggage tries to measure it to Danaher. Intercepted by Dougal Howard. Now with the Saints, they've got a chance. It's absolutely belted into the ground though. Jimmy Webster crushed by McStay. It's going to be a free kick just short of centre wing, commentary box side. Dan McStay, his first touch of the match. He looks towards the corridor. Beautiful kick, measures it to McInerney, to the run of Zorko. Zorko, long kick, Dev Robertson, and at the back, Charlie Cameron. He roves, does Charlie. Gathers, hooks it around. It's a floater. It's a point. One behind, 5 straight behinds the Lions. Still 4 points behind the Saints as they bring it back in quickly.
Brad Hill in the right back pocket, chips it to Dunstan, still in defensive 50, marks and hands to Sinclair. Here's the exit kick to the wing, a one-on-one between Marshall and Andrews. Andrews spoils away, Payne is able to mop up for Brisbane. Hand pass out the back to Adams, who kicks inboard, marked by Birchall, but he's on the defensive point of the centre square, just forward of left half back, Grant Birchall. And the veteran kicks it across the half-back line to Mitch Robinson. Takes an uncontested mark. Mackenzie stands the mark, still on that stripe of the centre square. Robinson chips to McStay. He's in his defensive half, McStay, trying to thread a way through here. That's an effective pass. It finds the Irishman Madden. Marks and hand passes to Neil, who can roam to 60 right half forward. Kicks it on the head of Hipwood. Should have marked, got hands to it, couldn't mark, but Zorko in his 200 mops up and kicks the milestone goal. Ah, yes.
Hipwood stayed down here.
So among the celebrations of a goal for Dane Zorko, the first for Brisbane in his 200th game, there is just a tempered emotion, and it looks like, well, for a moment Charlie Cameron was issuing a sign to the bench. He's limping from the field. This Carrara curse is killing the Lions. Pre-season it was Cam Rayner's knee. In the Q clash it was Darcy Gardner's shoulders. What can you see with Eric Hipwood coming from the field zone?
I reckon it's knee again, Q. Just looked like it buckled underneath the weight there, I think, of Membry that came in there. So this is a real concern. He's leaning on both trainers, and I can tell you that Charlie Cameron and the rest of the Lions, they put their hands up straight away to get some support. I think they're really worried about Eric. He's in heaps of pain.
They do not want a bar of this turf, Brisbane Lions Footy Club, when it comes to injuries in 2021.
It's his left knee too. He went to his left knee straight away.
So we're back into the middle of Carrara. The Lions hit the front late in the first quarter by a couple of points. Jared Lyons beaten to the ball. It's hacked out of there beautifully by Dunstan. Gets it inside 50. Big contest from Jack Payne for Brisbane. There's a Saints player down as well. I think it might be King. We'll keep an eye on that as well as the Lions get through the corridor. That's a great tackle. Should have been holding the ball and rewarded by young Burns. Ball spills in favour of St Kilda, cut off by Birchall though. Gives it back to Payne. They kick it back to the outer wing. Hill versus Zorko, 1-on-1. Hill taps it out. Nicely done. No. A throw, says the umpire. Zorko will get the free kick just short of the centre wing on the outer side, the Nerang River side here at Carrara.
King's still down too. I reckon it's concussion.
So he's in trouble. Hipwood's getting worked on the bench. Plenty of drama here early on. Brisbane lead by 2 points. Free kick at left half forward for the Lions, going to Danaher. And really, you think if Eric Hipwood goes down, it almost neutralises, in a bit of a way, the recruitment of this man. He was brought, of course, to beat the Twin Towers up forward. He chips backwards to Birchall, does Danaher. He's on the wing and unmarked, so kicks a long ball to full forward, and a great pack mark by Membry in defence for St Kilda. That ends a pretty tight, and as it turns out, dramatic first turn. Now, Ben King, Max King, has still got his hands on his shorts in the middle of the ground. What can you see, Jeff?
I think it's just a hip pointer. So he was down. It was obviously in a lot of pain, but kept on going to his right hip.
Fair bit happening on the Lions bench. Hipwood was assessed, looked like they were assessing his knee, and then took him down to the rooms. I'm sure Zane was watching, and then Reece Matheson's also gone down to the rooms behind him. Looking like he's probably ready to warm up, boys.
Okay, now, Zane, just a few more word pictures, if you could, please. What did you see when Eric Hipwood came from the ground?
Confirmation of everything that Lauren just said. So Matheson followed him in, which indicates that they probably don't think that Eric's going to come back out. He was in so much pain. He was writhing on the ground as they were trying to do an assessment. He's managed under his own steam, which is the only positive I can say, to get into the dressing room, whether they can strap it up. But I don't know whether you would even risk someone like Eric Hipwood, but certainly not a great scene if you're a Lions fan. I can't give you any real positivity about that as we go into quarter time.
Well, just as an observer of sport and an observer of injury, sometimes that's the worst thing if they can walk, because after the ACL rupture, you can walk. It's just the immense pain of the rupture and then the fact that you've got to have surgery in a long time out. Now, that's, of course, waiting on what we will get from the Lions' rooms, but that is part of the mechanism of the ACL rupture. You can walk afterwards, and sometimes you can't work with a medial or an MCL or those types, Jeff.
It's almost like when people describe when they do the ACL, I hear the pop, excruciating pain, but then it goes away, whereas if you do a medial, that's pain, constant pain. But just looking at the replay, just especially from behind him, going for the ball, the camera on the ground, you can see it buckle. You can see it buckle to the left.
So we will wait for any news on that. But Lions fans, they do not want to come anywhere near this place because it's the third game that they've played at Carrara this year, and it looks like a third serious injury after Cam Rayner did his knee in the pre-season and Darcy Gardner seriously hurt his shoulder in the Q clash. And not just... with no disrespect to anyone on the playing list, but three really big and important names for Brisbane. But they lead at quarter time, a tight first term here at Carrara. Brisbane 1-5-11, St Kilda 1-3-9. You're hearing it through the national broadcaster on Grandstand AFL.
In winter, mutton birds are flying to America like we can't. But we can snuggle in for a winter binge with Spicks and Specks on ABC iView.
You're right, miss. Yes, I'm right.
No, I'm just excited.
Or Wakefield, or Love on the Spectrum, or Fisk, or Superwog.
I have way more where that came from.
Don't be surprised by all the jaw-dropping comedy, eye-popping drama, and mind-blowing television.
There's more?
There's more. Yes. Stream for free now on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
Can a red-hot Ash Barty win Wimbledon?
She's already the first Aussie woman in 41 years to make the final.
This is as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and now we get a chance to try and live out a childhood dream.
Catch Ash as she chases the first Wimbledon crown on ABC Radio.
And ABC Sport Digital Radio tonight.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Payne goes out to the outer wing, looking there for Archie. Was cut off beautifully by Wilkie, who end up kicking it inside 50. Crouch, Brad Crouch, 45 metres out, leans back. Have we got the first goal of the game? We have.
Finds the Irishman Madden. Marks and hand passes to Neil, who can roam to 60 right half forward. Kicks it on the head of Hipwood. Should have marked, got hands to it, couldn't mark, but Zorko in his 200 mops up and kicks the milestone goal. What can you see with Eric Hipwood coming from the field zone?
I reckon it's knee again, Q. Just looked like it buckled underneath the weight there, I think, of Membry that came in there. So this is a real concern.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Pretty tight contest, low scoring, but plenty of drama in it. Nice to have you with us at Carrara. If you want to get in touch, the SMS number is 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Simon from Eltham asks, why are the Lions playing at Carrara? Well, this has got to do with the traffic light COVID system in Victoria with the Brisbane COVID lockdown and hotspot of last week. So essentially they didn't want to take St Kilda to Brisbane and then get them back to Melbourne. That's essentially gone from red to orange in the last 36 hours, but not in time for the game to be changed. So thank you for your question there, Simon. That number again, 0437 774 774. In the NRL, just the one game tonight, only the 4 games across the weekend ahead of State of Origin 3, which will be played in Newcastle on Wednesday. The Sydney Roosters 10, leading the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs 6. That's 22 minutes into the game. Earlier on today, the Dockers by 62 points over the Hawks and the Cats by 26 points over the Blues. Before our experts, Lauren and Jeff, all the news is on the bench at the moment, and our man Zane Bojack has the latest.
Yeah, the beast has been unleashed, Q. He's taken his top off and he's just having a chat to some of the coaches. He's in the middle of the field and he's going to take part in this second quarter. So Reece Matheson has been engaged. We won't see Eric for the rest of the game.
And, keep an eye out. But taken down to the rooms, that's a major concern. Lauren, Jeff, your thoughts, please.
Well, super pressure, as we said, Jeff, from the Saints, and that's what's caused them to be in the position they're in at quarter time. They probably would have liked to have been ahead, Jeff, I'm assuming. It felt like after the first few minutes of the quarter, it was mostly the Saints' quarter. Just couldn't capitalise on the scoreboard. But in terms of disposals, mostly the Lions, but the Saints +4 in tackles.
Yeah, it's look at in the stats wise, it's pretty even. But you just feel the intensity that the Saints have got, and particularly their tackles inside their forward 50 in huge favour.
Umpire Hosking bangs it down in the middle of the Carrara. Paddy Ryder straight down to Zach Jones for St Kilda. Handball off to Jack Steele. Standing start to centre half forward. Fisted away by Marcus Adams for Brisbane. Front and square was Hugh McCluggage, tackled immediately by Butler, and we'll have a ball up at centre half forward for the Saints. Still inside the centre square. Ryder outpoints McInerney. Got the ball down. Lockie Neal accepted it. Got tackled into the ground by Zach Jones, and we'll have a ball up more or less in the same spot. Umpire throws it up again. McInerney this time beats Ryder. Gathers the ball, tackled by Ryder. Ball spills to Zach Jones. Dribbles it inside 50. Daniel Rich, handball back to McCluggage. McCluggage kicks it into the middle. That's a really good contested mark taken by Tom Highmore.
Kicks it wide to McKenzie, who'll mark in space. 60 from goal at right half forward for St Kilda. Rolls on to his preferred left boot. Kicks it to the pocket looking for King. Adams in front takes a defender's mark. He has really grown in stature the last couple of months, Marcus Adams. Getting in front of Max King there to take a great grab in the left back pocket. Bangs a long right foot drop, punt out of defence for Brisbane. To a pack. Highmore a juggled, not paid the mark because Wilkie took the last part of it. He got jumped on, no prior. Ball up. About 70 metres from the Saints' goal between wing and right half forward on this western wing. Cool and crisp conditions by local standards. 2 points the lead to Brisbane. Clearance to McCluggage from left half back. Hoping ball to the middle of the ground. Whistle against Robinson for an illegal spoil on Billings. And he'll get the free kick for the Saints, just adjacent to the centre circles. Left boot inside 50 for St Kilda. McInerney back in the hole, juggles the mark for Brisbane.
The Big O celebrating his 27th birthday. Handball off to Harris Andrews. Kicks it to a good contest between McCarthy and Hill. Hill holding on. McCarthy will get the free kick short of centre wing on the broadcast side. Oh no, it's gone the other way.
I was going to say it could have gone either way. Both players holding each other.
Mate, I reckon you've got more experience in that regard than I there, Loz, so we'll give it to Hill. From right half forward, 70 metres out, a big kick inside 50. Big pack. Harris Andrews at the back, fisted forward. Oh, Daniel Rich just threw it away. Ball spills into the goal square, and it's going to be rushed through for Brisbane. Thought it could have been a free kick to the Saints, but it's another behind. 1-4-10 the Saints, 1-5-11 Brisbane. A point the margin after a couple of minutes of the second quarter.
We've done a lot of Lions games, guys. It seems the Saints are putting more time into the likes of McCarthy and Lions than a lot of other clubs have. We'll get a thought or two as Rich ones to the pocket. Kicks to the wing. Spoiled down by Howard of St Kilda, but rode there by aforementioned McCarthy. Left foot snap is a tumbler to half forward. No one there for Brisbane. Jones runs back for the Saints and gathers. Ham passes to Highmore. Is going to kick all the way back to fullback. He's got Webster. And he's going to continue the switch out towards the outer side. Beautiful kick. A little bit more central than two outer side. Steele marks. He goes wide on the flare now. Fumble there from Billings. He's got time to regather near the boundary. A short chip to Long. Takes the mark, but they're still inside their own half, Jeff.
Sorry, Q. Long's been awesome this game already. Just his intensity.
Kick to the wing. Turnover. McCarthy read it well. Took the mark just short of centre wing on the Narang River side. The outer side. It's the Lions by a point. Stagnant. A lot of movement in front of Link McCarthy here. He wheels onto the left. Long kick towards the Danaher lead at right half forward. Big fly. What a great fist it was from Howard. At ground level, Steele roves beautifully, gets around both Lions and McCluggage. Handball there off to Billings now on the left foot. 20-metre pass. Finds King a long way down from his full forward position. He's on the central wing area on the outer side.
So Max King kicks St Kilda just inside attacking 50. Adams again. You have to be up to 4 intercept marks already, I think. That was in front of Membry, who was engaged one-on-one with Andrews. He is just being let free at the moment, Marcus Adams. From defensive 50, kicks out to the wing, poor kick, back to Max King. We'll try it all again. He chips in field, mark taken by Highmore.
So we'll replay that one. Tom Highmore played in the Neefle for the Canberra Demons until deciding to go off to South Adelaide. Got himself drafted by the Saints in the rookie draft. Now Billings He's got it 70 metres from his own goal at left half back. He's got the lead of Jones, so they're just bit off a little 45 pass here. There's good short, sharp movement from the Saints, just chipping and passing. Seb Ross now, the run of Steele, the handball off now. He was pushed and got a free kick anyway. Kent, long, inside 50. The fly of Membry. He cut across. I don't know whether he actually had the first touch or not. I reckon Ben Long might have.
Well, I think he had the first and third. he had the bread and the sandwich touches, which I thought you had to have ham in the middle as well.
Well, he's got the whole lot. He's got the full rounder sandwiches 20 metres out, just slight angle to the left.
I just feel that the Saints are controlling this game. And then when Brisbane get the ball back, they rush kick. There's more numbers set up behind the play for St Kilda. Then away they go.
So Tim Membry, 20 goals, 21 for the year. Comes in from 30 metres. And he's made the goal umpire work frightfully. That's an awful kick. One behind. It's 1-5-11 apiece. And we have played 5.5 minutes of the second quarter.
And if you're just tuning in, the big news outside of the scoreboard, Eric Hipwood off the ground having a knee injury assessed. Doesn't look great for the Lions. Rich booms the ball back into play. Down the corridor, marked by McCarthy in the bullseye. 2 kicks to Cameron. Oh, what an injection. He marks at 40 out. Doesn't go for goal. Zorko's on the run. That's a poor kick. Zorko just keeps it in the pocket. He hand passes infield to McInerney. Gives it to Archie. They'll get a goal anyway. Archie kicks the goal from the top of the goal square. Brisbane lead by that kick at 2-5 to 1-5. 6 played second term. Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was just a wee break or whether there's some running repairs required for Luke Dunstan, but he ran down the race into the dressing rooms, but there was no physios or medicos behind him, so hopefully we see him back shortly for the Saints. And that was a much needed goal for the Lions, just to stem the momentum that the Saints were starting to build up, even though they were only kicking behind.
Hopefully Zane's right. Dunstan's leading disposal getter on the ground with the 12. What a kick from Dan Rich.
That was a set play. They had they had some numbers running out to the wing, and then they had 2 going back pretty much the opposite way back into the centre, and that's how they were able to get the 2 players free. So great setup. And why not when you've got such a great kick kicking out from full back?
Why didn't Charlie Cameron have a set shot from 40 metres out straight in front?
Skipper streaming towards goal.
Missed him though.
Settle down.
Yeah.
He missed him.
So we're back into the middle. McInerney takes it out of the ruck and promotes it forward by foot. It's a dribbling kick, nicely picked up around the ankles by Archie. Handball backwards to Lockie Neal. Sweeps a handball, looking for McCarthy to right half forward. It's cut off by Hill for the Saints. They've turned it over again, Brisbane, and the Saints have brought it down the outer wing. It's finding Ben Long just short of the wing. Long right foot kick towards Kent, spoiled by Adams. Robertson, handball back to Jack Payne. From a standing start, Charlie Cameron a 2-on-1. He did well to bring the ball to ground. Jimmy Webster tries to beat all tacklers. Tackled, ball spills. Robinson in there as well as McStay, laying another tackle. Webster fighting for the ball for a second time. The ball spills away from both he and McStay over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in as I just look up on the scoreboard and see a picture of Eric Hipwood in the Lions dressing rooms with his left knee heavily strapped.
That's a shocking sight because he's walking, and again, we're not physios or doctors, but that's got ACL written all over it. Unfortunately, we wait for the official news, but yeah, you can't walk like that if it's just a lateral or a medial or something like that, can you, Jeff?
No.
That's the excruciating pain, and then no good. He's gone to the bench with a massive ice pack on his knee, and we wait to hear whether or not we'll get to see him again this season. Neal from 70 kicks Brisbane to full forward. McStay flies, and at the time of need, he takes a 2-grab mark. His job might be getting a bit bigger in the next couple of months. And Dan McStay takes a mark 30 metres out directly in front.
I was just going to ask you that, Q. They've stuck with McStay, Hipwood and Danaher pretty much majority of the season. Have they got anyone coming through? Is it something they've worked with, but Price, you might know a bit more, but anyone coming through the seconds that...
Oh, you might get Connor Ballenden. He's an emergency. He's 6'4", but look, it's a big drop from Eric.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Here's McStay, who's been quite accurate this year on his left boot. Oh dear, sorry. He's at the post. 2-6-18 leads 1-5-11. Brisbane in front of St Kilda. 10 minutes played, second term on ABC Sports Grandstand AFL at Carrara. By the way, Price, he didn't get the chance for the stat. It was 13-4 until that kick. Now 13-5.
Long kick towards a 2-on-1. Max King, Jack Payne and the flying Harris Andrews, who came through to kill the contest and belt the ball over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in right in front of the grandstand AFL commentary box, just between the wing and left half forward for the Brisbane Lions. Ryder gets into the back there of Danaher. Ball spills in front of Matheson, taken off the ball. Now Ryder at ground level does well. That's a shocking handball, though. He's turned it over. Dunstan and Kadeen Coleman went and got the ball. Handball backwards towards Neil. Still at left half forward. Neil retreats back just in front of centre wing to Starcevic. Starcevic a long kick now towards the wing. McCarthy with the body work at the back of the pack. McStay has it. Tackled by Wilkie. Ball stuck to his chest. And we'll have a ball up in the left forward pocket.
2-6-18 to 1-5-11. 11 minutes played second term at Carrara. It's the Lions in front. Ryder got the tap down, but straight to Zorko. Ran into Paddy. High contact. Free kick to Dane Zorko. So he has earned a shot on goal. Hold on, is there another blood rule here? No. Field umpire's just having a chat to Paddy Ryder. And Dane Zorko already got one goal in his 200th, setting up for the snap punt for his second in his 200th game. Beautiful execution from the four-time best and fairest, two-time leading goal kicker, one-time All-Australian and two-time goal kicker tonight. 3-6-24 to 1-5-11. And Zork 200. Well, at least that script's going right for the Lions, Jeff and Lauren.
Working in their favour at the moment, it certainly is. But I still feel that the Saints have the intensity. I was a little bit, with that block at the stop play, I thought that Paddy Ryder might have actually got a free kick. You're not allowed to stand there as the opposition ruckman. But anyway, play on. He just got a bit too high on Zorko. So, but I still feel Saints' intensity is much higher than Brisbane, but they've just been able to finish off their set shots and be able to hit the scoreboard pressure more than the Saints at the moment.
I think that's it, Whitey. The last three scoring shots of the Lions, to me, as well, while the Saints' pressure is really good, it just indicates that momentum starting to swing back towards Brisbane's way.
The 20 inside 50s to the Saints, 2-15 for Brisbane as well. Back into the middle, McInerney v Ryder. Ryder gets this one down, but only at the feet of both ruckmen. Dunstan promotes it forward by foot off the ground. Well picked up by Burns. Back to Steele. Inside 50. Marcus Adams gets in front of Marshall. Fists the ball away. Saints with a chance through Billings. Handball back to Crouch. He has to go outside 50 to try and find McKenzie. It's going to come back inside through Steele. At the back of the pack. Oh, it went through the hands of Seb Ross. He picked it up, had a flying shot. It dribbles through. No. To the left. One behind off the foot of Butler in the end, and it will be 1-6-12 the Saints, 3-6-24 to the Brisbane Lions. We've played 13 minutes of the second quarter.
Birchall's exit looking for Coleman, who took the mark. Is he paid? No, play on. Highmore did enough to spoil. Picked up by Burns. Hand pass to the side of the pack, ends up with Connolly. Hand pass to half forward for Long. Gives it back to Burns. He's got a man all on his own in the pocket and finds him with a left-footed pass. Billings in an acre of space takes the grab in the left forward pocket for St Kilda.
Been able to cut off those kicks outside their back, their forward 50 tonight, the Saints. Really, it just shows that they're setting up defensively really, really quickly.
12 goals for the year for Jack Billings. This assignment 30 out, slight angle to the left to narrow it to a goal. The diff. Billings on his left boot. Fine finish. The Saints have got a couple. 3-6 to 2-6. Brisbane in front. 14 minutes played. Second term at Carrara. Thank you for your messages. 0437 774774. Mark in Adelaide asks, "Hi Q, how's the crowd number looking?" I was told it was going to be about 10,000. So that's at least half of what we would have got at the Gabba tonight. There would have been, I reckon, 25,000 had we played at the Gabba tonight. Thank you, Mark. And g'day to Robbo, who's listening at Keith in South Australia on that very powerful 774 analogue band. Loving the call. Driving from South Australia to Perth. Go Saints. Long night ahead of you, Robbo. Footy, then the Ash Bash. As someone said I should call the tennis. Dave from Footscray, thank you for that. Don't use the Barty Party. Everyone uses that. Go for the Ash Bash.
I don't
instead.
mind the Ash Bash.
Goal to diff.
Back into the middle here at Carrara, though. Umpire Stevens bangs it down. Charging it onto it there, Zach Bailey. He was tackled. He threw it, according to the umpire. Free kick to Dunstan for the Saints. He delivers one inside 50. He was looking for Ryder, cutting across Starcevic. Handball to Payne. Payne now gave it by hand to Dev Robertson. The youngster kicks it to the wing. It's all St Kilda. Sinclair could have raffled it with Dunstan. Ends up chipping it to half forward. Membry accidentally tunnelled by McInerney, who copped one from Ryder on the way through, I believe, accidentally.
Poke in the eye, I think.
Well, there's certain things that are better than a poke in the eye. Tim Membry has the ball from 55. That's one of them. See what he can do. Kicks it to the pocket. King works his way to the front. Spoiled there by Adams. Making his way to the front there was Butler. Slapped it into the path of Billings, who curled it around to the dangerous spot, but well spotted by Daniel Rich, who took a relieving chest mark just in front of his own goal.
This is a tight and attritional game of footy. The Saints have brought the pressure. How long can they long can they keep it up? Long kick from Rich. Intercepted by Sinclair at half forward for the Saints. Hands it off to Ross, and his kick hits King. Takes the mark, 35 out straight in front.
This is the Lions' area of weakness. Their D50 exits have been pretty poor tonight. The Saints are cutting them off because they're set up really nicely. And that quick entry back inside 50 for the Saints, just catching the Lions defenders off guard every time, because they're looking for the next offensive chain. They're not manning up.
Well, they've been real patient, and they've been precise. They're not, when they win the ball back, they're not blazing away.
Is to level the scores. Max King celebrated his 21st birthday during the week. Straight in front, fine right foot drop punt. It's 2 in a row to the Saints, 3-6 apiece through 17 minutes of the second term on Grandstand AFL with Lauren Arnell and Jeff White.
They're just cutting off those exits in the air, and they're working for each other. So not only are they setting up and defensively setting up one-on-one, but then their teammates are coming off. They're zoning off. They're either taking the intercept mark or they're bringing it to ground, and then they've got numbers. So they're forcing the ball to the ground. They're winning it in the air. They're bringing it to ground, and then they're having the ability to lower their eyes and hit inside forward 50. So the Saints' intensity is still there from what it was at the start of the game.
One player that's doing that really well, Brad Hill, he's on the 7 disposals so far, but just really effective in terms of where he's setting up, as White is explaining.
Have a look at the Saints midfield as well. Dunstan with 14, Seb Ross with 10, Jack Steele with 10. And looking at the Lions, they're doing it a little bit tougher than that. McCluggage has got 10, Zorko with 9, and we've got Lockie Neal with 8 as we're back into the middle. Ball gets tucked underneath the ruckman's feet. It'll be a free kick to St Kilda for high contact. Zach Jones receives the handball there from Steele. Knocked as he kicks it inside 50, hitting the ball with pace, bringing it down. Ryan Burns gets it onto the right shoe and kicks it out of the stadium. It's out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket. Exciting bit of play, though, as the Lions will bring it back in.
Easy to miss-hit those when you're at that sort of pace, but
I don't know,
definitely would like to finish those, but easy to miss when you're at that sort of pace.
Speed wobbles, I think that's what they call them. Starcevic with the long kick to a pack at half back, but Ryder. Is it just me, or is he getting better the last couple of years? He has been so important for St Kilda. And McStay lucky not to give away a 50 by treading in the demilitarised zone. Kick to the pocket. King! Hands too tall over the top of Starcevic. Great leap, great clunk in the right forward pocket. And there's a bit of feeling at the bottom of that pack again. Yeah. Not quite sure what happened there. But King's been marched to the goal mouth, and this will give St Kilda the lead. He will kick his second. And it's 3 in a row for the Saints. Dunstan's in there among that fracas of a few others. There's the goal. 2 for King. 4-6 to 3-6. The Saints are ruffling some feathers here.
And Brisbane's getting sucked in. So they've gone straight over to King's opponent, one of the Saints players, and then they grabbed him by the head. Remonstrated. Oh, you would. You pick. But as soon as the umpire sees that. But Saints are sucking them in. They're playing hard at the footy. they're winning those loose contested and contested footy, but they're sucking them in as well.
Can I also ask you guys, the last 2 entries, and King has got those 2 goals, his opponent has been Brandon Starcevich. There's been a dramatic height mismatch there. Has the changeover between opponents gone wrong there?
Well, they're not working.
Yeah, so Harris Andrews, I think, has been blocked off the footy. You can see it on the replay now. Dean Kent's put a soft block onto Harris Andrews, allows King to lead up at the ball and leap with a bit of momentum.
Got some news in just a moment about a very credible from-afar analysis of the Hipwood injury, and it's not good.
OK, we'll get back into the middle. Ryder gets it now back down to Zach Jones. Saints are on fire at the moment. Steal by hand. Dunstan inside 50. Marcus Adams controls it. He's tackled there by Ben Long. Still gets the handball away to Dev Robertson. Under pressure, he gets a kick down the wing. Jared Lyons in front of Bradley Hill. Game is really lit up now. Lyons laterally to the corridor, finds McInerney, then to Birchall. Well, there's the pressure. The usually unflappable Birchall has turned it over. Sinclair now to right half forward, finds Tim Membry.
Membry bangs deep to full forward. King's got a couple to beat. Adams protects the drop. Juggles, can't control the mark. Long with the rope. Hand pass to Burns. He's kicked another for St Kilda from the outside of his boot at the top of the goal mouth. 4 in a row for St Kilda. They lead by 2 goals at 5-6-36 to 3-6-24. Now, that news, the advantages of working across codes and being this part of the world where you can have all manner of resources for sporting injuries, at NRL Physio on Twitter has got a very, very good strike rate. And our man Zane and Jess Stewart, who's in the stands watching tonight, has just asked NRL Physio on the vision of the Hipwood injury. His response, textbook ACL injury mechanism and hands-on tests for medical staff, very accurate. As they suspect, ACL have to hope for a miracle. That's from at NRL Physio, and I can tell you, having seen him work through the NRL, he's got a very good analysis strike rate. So that's terrible news if true.
And the Saints win it out of the middle again. They are on a flyer at the moment. It comes back out there to Billings, pushed as he kicked it, goes to right half forward. This time Harris Andrews is standing next to Max King, spoils him, the ball falls at their feet, and it'll be a contest. There'll be a ball up. Zane's on the boundary.
And more breaking news. I know this is an AFL broadcast, but State of Origin 3 in NRL is going to be played here. Boys, can you believe it? Just been announced.
At Carrara?
Not here at Carrara, but on the Gold Coast.
At Rabina, wow.
Goodness gracious, it's all happening here in and around the stadium.
Can you give me the tennis score as well now, Zane?
I'll try my best.
Inside 50, here's Sinclair. Let's go from 45 to Sinclair. Big fly, oh what a grab.
And
that is Max King. This time he's not beating Brandon Starcevich. He took a clunker in front of Harris Andrews.
That definitely should be 50. Harris Andrews has followed through well and truly on Max King.
Oh, the umpires are going to take him to the line. No, they're not.
That should be 50.
I could have sworn that was 50, but Max King has it. He can kick his 3rd goal for the quarter. The Saints, well, they're giving it to the almost local side here in Brisbane at Carrara. What a great mark that was. His confidence must be just flying now.
Just love how that both of them, the twins, just meet the ball at its highest point. So hard to stop.
He'll kick this from about the point post. Lazy right footer. It's good enough. And it's the 3rd for Max King here at Carrara. The Saints 6-6-42. They're now 18 points in front of Brisbane. 3-6-24, 23 and a half gone final term.
I'm just looking at the ruck. I go from a ruck perspective there, Pricey. I don't know what the centre bounce clearance is, but Paddy Ryder's been jumping into Big O. He's been jumping straight in him, jumping straight in. That last centre bounce, Marshall's gone as like a stop play around the ground, tapped it back, another centre clearance. So both Marshall and Paddy Ryder are really working over O. He's got to change his angle here, which he's going to do right now, but. Something they've got to sort out there, Brisbane.
Saints are controlling the game all across the ground. They were sitting at Lions were 10 more disposals at quarter time. Saints are now plus 25. Lions have had 3 inside 50s this whole quarter. So now it's 30 to 15 inside 50s in the Saints' favour.
5 goals in a row to St Kilda. Centre bounce, a clearance for Brisbane. Matheson, the injury sub, playing for Hipwood, gets the clearance and kicks to full forward. Danaher nudged underneath it. Lions roves and bumped off his kick by the presence of Sinclair. Great late arriving nudge to put Lions off his kick, and he's forced a ball up in the pocket. Boy, there's a bit happening around the place. But Saints fans, you're loving the sounds of this. 5 goals in a row to lead by 3 goals. Marshall with the tap down. No way through at the coalface for McKenzie. Ferret's out a handball. The ump let him go for quite a while. Gave it straight to McCluggage. He's wrapped up. We'll do it again. It was Brisbane by 2 points at quarter time. They kicked the first 2 goals of the second term, but the last 5 to the Saints.
Ball thrown up, taken by Marshall, out of the ruck, scrubs it outside defensive 50. Zach Bailey, only 4th touch, grabs it from 55, curls it around the body. It's all St Kilda. In fact, Dougal Howard spoils his teammate. It's taken on the boundary by McCluggage, bounces it towards the goal. Took a freakish bounce. Only Dougal Howard's hand prevented it from being a goal. It's one behind the Lions. They trail by 17 points as the Saints bring it back in quickly.
Webster to Marshall, had 2 against him. Punched to ground rove by Billings. Hoping kick to the bullseye in space. How's the bounce for Long? Clean bowls him. Went through his legs. Picked up by Madden of Brisbane. Here's the turnover. Kick to centre half forward. Taken by McCluggage. Hands to Zorko. Got a push in the back. Will get a free kick. As he was going to launch from 40 metres out. It will come back for the Brisbane skipper, who can go for a 3rd goal in his 200th game. Storylines spewing out of this one.
What about that ground ball there on Long? Like, they were out. So they had someone running inside forward 50 and then just a bad bounce.
So Dane Zorko needs to kick a captain's goal here. He's already got 2 in his 200th. From the Surfers Paradise Demons as a junior to the Broadbeach Cats, and in his 200th game tonight for Brisbane from 51, strikes it beautifully. 3 for the Zork in his 200th. 11 points the difference. St Kilda lead it late on in this second term. With so much happening on this night of footy. Hope you're enjoying it through Grandstand AFL. Lauren Arnell and Jeff White.
They've kicked 4, he's kicked 3. Not a bad milestone game.
Yeah.
But that's Brisbane. That's how they play. They want to play through the midfield. I know there was a ball rolled there and Long couldn't get a hold of it, but they were able to then, this is what these good sides do. When they have a bit of a turnover, they'll hurt you going the other way. But I just don't see enough of that at the moment from Brisbane. They're 2 stop-start, and it's because of the pressure and the work rate from the St Kilda Football Club across the whole board. There's no weak lines at the moment.
30 inside 50s to 18, and the tackling stats, St Kilda 28 to Brisbane 19, and plus 22 in the stats, as Lauren Arnell pointed out. The Saints taken over in that regard, back into the middle of Carrara. It's at the feet of the ruckman again. McInerney pushed off it, putting himself in McCluggage. He had 3 Saints to deal with there. He let loose the ball. Crouch got himself involved, as did Zach Jones. The ball will be peeled out from underneath those players, and umpire will ball it up. Just throws it up now. Ryder, now there's something happened behind play here, and it was a little bit of a tete-a-tete between Brad Crouch and Lockie Neal. Neal feeling his left pec at the moment, and will receive the free kick in the middle of the field. He goes straight down the middle towards McInerney at the front, spoiled by Membry. Front and square was Seb Ross, towed it outside 50, but waiting there was Jack Payne on the point of the centre square. He's 70 metres out, Q. He's having a look, and he goes a little bit laterally out wide.
To the Brownlow medalist, Neal, 60 from goal, marks near the boundary, kicks to the pocket, Danaher, flies, couldn't mark. Ryder with the rove for the Saints. Quick hands, a chance for Howard. He gave it to the boundary for Webster. Kept it in but got tackled. No prior. Ball up. And quickly thrown in the air. Danaher tried to get over Ryder. Ryder won the tap. Matheson throws his head at the ball. Doesn't get a free kick. Jones with a clearing kick for the Saints. Through Steele and Crouch. Back to Steele. Back to Jones. All by hand. He backs himself. Looking for a game of origin next Wednesday at Robina. Great run off half back from Jones. Through Long. Got the hands there to Kent. His hand pass got to the wing. They've rumbled it to Butler. Now the up and under kick. It ends the fluent momentum. Madden gets underneath that bomb with Marshall there as well, and it's locked up for a ball up. It'll run and gun. Bit of take the game on there. Love Zach Jones with that bald head flowing off left half back, Pricey. What a look.
I love
Here he goes again.
The hirsute nature of Zach Jones's football as it comes back to Seb Ross, left foot to Dunstan out wide in front of Zorko, just forward of centre wing, out of side. Saints by 11 points and doing it nicely here in the second quarter at Carrara. Inside 50. It was a good spoiling effort there by McInerney off Marshall. It ends up with Marshall. His handball turned over. Daniel Rich gives it by hand to McCarthy. He just whacks it onto the boot and kicks it out of there as far as he can. It's coming back though. Nembry takes a chest mark just between half-back and centre wing out of side.
90 seconds to half-time. Membry looking for Ross, spoiled by Zorko. Ross tries to keep it in near the boundary. Crouch helps him out. His hand pass up and under. Tackle. Who was that out there? Neil applying a vice-like grip on a Saint obscured. Such is the nature of that tackle, and getting up, I can tell you, it was Connolly who had no chance. No prior, he gives it to the ump, and will be a ball up on that outer side. 11 points the lead to the Saints. McInerney will get a free kick in the right contest. Ryder went over the shoulder, he slaps his hands, Big Paddy, in disgust. And the birthday boy, the Big O, from defensive side of the Nerang River wing. Kicks Brisbane to the right half forward flank. Danaher first hand can't mark. It ricochets to Dunstan. Little check kick. Finds his target there in Ross. Defensive hand pass. Back to Howard at left half back. He's looking backwards. And he kicks backwards to Webster in the back pocket.
So Jimmy Webster's just going to hold it up a little bit. He tries to wait the kick to Membry. Lions for Brisbane actually travelled back, got in front of Membry, spoilt the ball. It ended up back in the hands of Membry anyway. Kicked it to the outer wing. Spoiling forward and front and square was McCarthy to Zorko by hand. It went to Neil. Umpires called a free kick, but it's play on advantage to Brisbane. Birchall to Cameron. Webster spoils him. Front and square McStay handball. Robertson on the right shoe. Mitch misses to the right. And one behind results. The Saints 6-6-42. 10 points in front of Brisbane for 8:32 very late in this second quarter.
About 18 seconds to go as Howard just strolls out of the goal mouth, no doubt aware that time is on the fly, so he kicks deep down the line to a 2-on-2 pack beyond half-back. Rode by Mitch Robinson, dumped under the ferocity of the tackle from Billings. And we'll have another ball up. What a dramatic first half we have had here. Serious knee injury to Eric Hipwood. 3 goals for Dane Zorko in his 200th game, but 5 goals in a row for the Saints in this term to go to half-time with a 10-point lead. Desperate to keep in touch with the fight for the top 8. The Saints looking for 3 in a row. Have been able to come from a 2-point deficit at quarter time to establish a 10-point lead at half-time, kicking 5 goals 3 to Brisbane's 3 goals 3 in that second quarter. 6-6-42 to 4-8-32 at St Kilda by 10 points at Oranges. Max King has 3 goals. Singles to Brad Crouch, Jack Billings and Ryan Burns. And for Brisbane, Zorko with 3, Archie with the other. St Kilda 6-6-42, Brisbane 4-8-32. Where do you want to start, Lauren Arnell and Jeff White? Plenty to talk about.
Just the intensity from St Kilda. We've spoken about it in the first half. It's just been outstanding. It's just a defensive pressure. Been able to get those intercept marks across. Particularly, it feels like when the Lions have come out of their St Kilda's forward 50, they haven't been able to get it past the halfway line. They haven't been able to get it past. They just can't get it out. They feel under pressure every time. They're slamming on their boot. They're not precise. They're not cutting. That's what Brisbane's really, really been successful. It's about getting that ball on the half-back line and being able to zigzag through, cut up the defence. They just can't do it tonight. And it's because of the defensive structure that St Kilda's had set up really early too.
How do they sustain it, Lauren? It's the question that all Saints fans want to know at half-time. They are the Katy Perry of the AFL this year.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Hot and cold. They're all over the place, aren't they?
They are, but you can only judge them on what we're seeing right now tonight. And based on what they've done for the first 2 quarters, you can only expect that they'd continue to do it in the second half. I really like what Brad Hill's doing. He's going to be, if you're watching on telly, you're probably thinking, where's Brad Hill been? He's had a few possessions, but what he's doing really well is what Jeff's trying to describe, is closing off that D50 exit for Brisbane and doing a really handy job on Lincoln McCarthy. So McCarthy plays a really unselfish team role in terms of that high half-forward connector piece for the Lions. And certainly offensively and defensively, McCarthy's really important. Brad Hill's taking him as a direct opponent. And each time the Saints win the footy just outside their forward 50 where they're turning it over, Hill's getting on his bike and trying to create some run and drive while he's still playing that defensive role and setting up and closing off the exit for the Lions. So I like what he's doing. I think the Saints midfield's been dominant. Whitey was starting to talk about the ruck battle, but I think midfield work rate is one illustration from the stats, like Dunstan 19, Steele 15, Ross 14, Billings 14, Jones 13, and then the next is Dan Rich on 13. So it just tells you where the ball's being played, very much in Saints' control.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Jeff. Repeating that half-time score, St Kilda 6-42, Brisbane 4-8-32. Earlier today, the Dockers by 62 over the Hawks in Launceston. The Cats by 26 points over the Blues at the MCG. Half-time in the NRL. In fact, they've just started the second half. Sydney Roosters 16, leading Canterbury Bankstown 10. And that big news in Australian sport that we'll see a third Origin game of the series in Queensland here at Gold Coast. Obviously, the COVID issues in Greater Sydney and surrounds forcing that change after Newcastle was originally given the nod for Game 3. And of course, later on tonight, Ash Barty will try and claim Australia's first Wimbledon singles title in the ladies since Yvonne Goolagong in 1980 when she takes to court against Karolina Pliskova. We will have it for you on ABC Sport, and we'll get a feeling from Saturday morning in London with the BBC's tennis correspondent Russell Fuller to join us very shortly. But we'll take a break on that. Saints by 10 points at half-time. More to come on this big Saturday night of sport after the news.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian is urging people to follow the COVID rules as the state records 50 new cases. More than half of those were in the community while infectious, and the source of 13 cases remains unknown. Health authorities are also asking people to be honest with contact tracers to help curb the spread of the virus. Gladys Berejiklian says people need to think of their friends and loved ones.
People are getting the virus and then spreading it to those closest to them. If you truly love your parents, your sisters, your best friends, please stick to the rules.
Meanwhile, the New South Wales Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Kerry Chant, says people need to be honest with contact tracers.
It's critical that you tell the truth the first time. We know that everyone is human and makes poor decisions at certain times, but please don't compound that initial mistake by not telling us the truth the first time.
Police have fined a Canberra man trying to enter Victoria over $5,000 for failing to comply with the state's new travel permit system. More than 300 police are manning checkpoints on the New South Wales-Victoria border. Acting Superintendent Brett Colo says the Canberra man who disobeyed the rules was an exception, with most people complying with police.
He was dealt with accordingly, given a $5,000 plus fine, and he was escorted back to the border by Victoria Police, and he was greeted by our police colleagues in New South Wales.
Victorian authorities have instructed passengers on a Qantas flight to London to self-isolate and get tested after a passenger tested positive to COVID. The person was on flight QF1542, which left Launceston on the 2nd of July into Melbourne on its way to London. The passenger tested positive in the United Kingdom more than 72 hours after leaving Melbourne. 61 passengers have been contacted. Testing Commander for Victoria, Jerome Weimar, says the infected person was in Melbourne for just 4 hours.
It is an exceptionally long shot, but out of an abundance of caution, both ourselves, working closely with the Tasmanian Public Health Team, have decided to take that very precautionary stance to make sure that any remote chance of this person being positive while they were in Tasmania or the 4 hours they were in Melbourne, that we just run that to ground.
The WA Health Department has updated its advice for travellers who've recently returned to Western Australia from Tasmania. The decision comes after the Tasmanian Department of Health released a list of locations visited by the person who tested positive for COVID-19 after leaving Tasmania and arriving in London. Anyone in WA who's been to one of the Tasmanian exposure sites is being asked to get tested and remain isolated until they receive a negative result. Russia's reporting its highest daily number of coronavirus-linked deaths since the pandemic began. It recorded 752 deaths in the past 24 hours, taking the national toll to more than 142,000. Russia's coronavirus task force is also reporting more than 25,000 new cases, including nearly 5,700 in Moscow. The federal government has flagged that if trials go well, it hopes vaccinated international travellers will be able to quarantine at home if they return to Australia in the lead up to Christmas. Yesterday, more detail around an SA home quarantine trial for vaccinated returned travellers was announced, with Paralympians and returning defence personnel likely to be the first participants. But Federal Trade and Tourism Minister Dan Tehan says as long as the trials show tracking technology effectively keeps tabs on those staying at home, criteria to quarantine at home should be broadened.
In the South Australian trial, they'll be using a mobile app to make sure that that compliance is adhered to. And if that works, I think that'll be a real breakthrough, because it will mean we'll be able to balance that personal security side versus the public health aspect.
One man's been charged with murder and a second man charged with being an accessory following the disappearance of a man in Melbourne's southeast. 29-year-old Brandon Farrell's been missing for more than a month and was last seen by friends on the 31st of May. A 30-year-old Hampton Park man and a 49-year-old Noble Park man were arrested and have been charged. An autopsy is being conducted to formally identify human remains which were located at an address in Noble Park last night. And a South Korean university has launched a scheme that pays people a cup of coffee or some fruit for using the toilet. A professor at Ulsan National Institute of Science and Technology has designed an eco-friendly toilet connected to a laboratory that uses excrement to pay for energy.
Open your ears to the world with the ABC Listen app. Join Yumi Steins as she delves into taboo topics in Ladies We Need to Talk.
If I straightened my hair, I was fitting in, and if I didn't, then I was suddenly sort of a Black Panther or something.
Or immerse yourself in the life of someone else in conversations with Richard Feidler and Sarah Konoski.
I remember hearing this tremendous roar, and then the boat was literally picked up and thrown upside down.
Open your ears to the world with the ABC Listen app.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Zorko just keeps it in the pocket. He hand passes infield to McInerney, gives it to Archie. They'll get a goal anyway. Archie kicks the goal from the top of the goal square. It's the Lions in front right. I got the tap down, but straight to Zorko. Ran into Paddy, high contact. Free kick to Dane Zorko. Dane Zorko already got one goal in his 200th. Setting up for the snap punt. Beautiful execution. Connolly, hand pass to half forward for Long. Gives it back to Burns. He's got a man all on his own in the pocket and finds him with a left-footed pass. Billings in an acre of space. Jack Billings. This assignment 30 out, slight angle to the left to narrow it to a goal. The diff. Billings on his left boot. Fine finish. The Saints have got a couple. Max King celebrated his 21st birthday during the week. Straight in front. Fine right foot drop punt. It's 2 in a row to the Saints. Ryder. Kick to the pocket. King! Hands too tall over the top of Starcevic. King's been marched to the goal mouth. There's the goal. King's got a couple to beat. Adams protects the drop. Juggles, can't control the mark. Long with the rope. Hand pass to Burns. He's kicked another for St Kilda. So Dane Zorko needs to kick a captain's goal here. His 200th game tonight for Brisbane from 51. Strikes it beautifully. 3 for the Zork in his 200th.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Plenty of theatre here at Carrara on the Gold Coast. Nice to have you with us on ABC Sport. My name's Quentin Hale. This is Saturday night footy. St Kilda 6-6-42, leading Brisbane 4-8-32. 3 goals for Dane Zorko in his 200th game. 3 goals for Max King for St Kilda in that quarter. And Eric Hipwood with a suspected ACL injury. And to think that we've got the Ash Bash, the Barty Party, to come at SW19. Fantastic news. You'll be able to hear it around the country on ABC Local Radio, ABC Sport Digital as well. Let's check in on this Saturday morning finals weekend in London. Russell Fuller, the BBC's tennis correspondent, joins us from SW19. Russ, we are so excited on this side of the world. I know you guys always love Wimbledon finals weekend. There's two in the fight, but we want to know only about one. How are you?
I'm very well, Quentin, and you've got every reason to be excited and to be concentrating exclusively on Ash Barty, because it's the first time an Australian woman has been in the Wimbledon final since Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley in 1980, and she's done it, hasn't she, after a really unfortunate preparation, having to pull out of the French Open with a hip problem, which I think we felt would hinder her here at Wimbledon. Her preparation was not ideal. She wasn't practicing as regularly as she would want to, but she's got better and better, played her best match of the fortnight against Angelique Kerber in the semi-finals, and as world number one, I think has to start slight favourite for this final.
Now, Karolina Pliskova, for those who follow their tennis, know she is a highly talented player, perhaps one of the best on tour, yet to win a major. And it seems to be all about that timing of her wonderful ground strokes. What have you made of her progress to the final?
She would have been one of those players who you perhaps wouldn't immediately have thought of going into Wimbledon, just because she's been inconsistent in the Grand Slams of late and actually has not had her best year on tour. But she's now working with Sasha Bain, who was working in the past with Naomi Osaka, amongst others. And I think he has certainly helped instill a lot of confidence in her. She is serving superbly. And Ash Barty's serve is underrated, I think. She serves a lot of aces, but so too does Pliskova. And she just seems to be playing with a lot of confidence from the baseline. And she can come forward as well. You don't really associate her with coming forward, but she's got some nice touch at the net as well. So if she believes she can win, which I think has been the missing piece of the jigsaw up until now, she's incredibly dangerous to Barty.
Forget you're talking to Australians. Give us your unbiased opinion as to who you think is going to be the 2021 ladies singles champion.
I will go for Barty, but it's one of those finals where you wouldn't be at all surprised at the end of the match if Pliskova had won it. And that's just because of the wins that Barty has had on tour this year, and the fact that she has won a Grand Slam title before. When she came back after that year break from the sport because of the pandemic, she was the world number one, but Naomi Osaka, to all intents and purposes, felt like the world number one, having won at the US Open and having won at the Australian Open. And the way Barty has played since then, I know she didn't win the Australian Open, but she won the Yarra Valley Classic just before in her first tournament back. She won Miami, which is a big event on the women's tour. She then won on the clay in Stuttgart and looked to be in amazing form coming into the French Open before that injury struck. So I just think the number of big wins she's had this year and the fact that this has been a lifelong dream might just give her the edge.
Russell, I hope you have a great weekend, not only tonight our time, but throughout the ladies' and gentlemen's singles. And the omnipresent question around Wimbledon time, is that roof going to be open for the women's final?
It is touch and go. We've had a fairly damp, chilly, average couple of weeks of weather after a hot spell leading into Wimbledon. And I think there's going to be a reasonable chance that that roof is closed today because there are showers forecast for the rest of the afternoon.
Have a great weekend, mate. Lovely to hear your voice. Let's hope it's a positive night for Australian sports fans staying up late.
Thanks, Quentin.
Russell Fuller, the BBC tennis correspondent, among those bringing the action to you, of course, on ABC Local Radio. You'll be able to hear the call from the World Service team, headed up by Chris Dennis and Della Lloyd, along with Annabelle Croft and Daniela Hunter-Cover in the experts chair. But Russell's been a long-time friend of ours on Grandstand, and if you want to hear his work on BBC 5 Live, which is the domestic service in the UK, you can always just download the BBC Sounds, because we don't have the streaming rights, so it's probably a good thing. If you are relying on your phone, you can't hear Wimbledon tonight through the ABC Listen app, but if you want to hear the tennis through your phone, BBC Sounds is the place to go, and go to BBC 5 Live. But otherwise, if you've got your digital radio or your analogue radio, you know where to hear the call, and we'll be going there straight after the footy. We see St Kilda leading by 10 points at half-time. Michael Price, Lauren Arnell and Jeff White, a few numbers and analysis on what's turning into a very newsy night.
Well, for the goal scorers, we'll have a look at those first. It won't take long for Brisbane. Dane Zorko has 3. Calamarchi has 1. Max King, 3 for the Saints. Billings, Burns and Crouch with 1 apiece. When it comes to the stats, though, Daniel Rich leads the charge for Brisbane with 13 disposals at 77%. Payne with 12. McCluggage 12. Zorko with 11 at 91% with his 3 goals. And Lachie Neale with 11 and 6 tackles. For the Saints, Dunstan leading the charge. 19 disposals, 5 clearances and 6 inside 50s. Jack Steele with 15 disposals at 87% and 4 tackles. Billings with 14. Seb Ross with 14. If we look at the overall disposals, though, Loz and Jeff, Saints are absolutely slaughtering Brisbane with regards to numbers of the ball. So 25 plus with regards to that. They're using the ball better, 73% disposal efficiency to 69. Tackles, they've got 35 to 27. Inside 50s, 31 to 21. And we keep going on. Clearances, 20 to 14. It's pretty comprehensive so far. They've just brought the heat, Lauren Arnell, and they are smacking the Lions.
Absolutely. Particularly in that second quarter, they really controlled the game with possession. As we said earlier, the Lions were up by 10 disposals at quarter time, and then Saints have flipped that by 35 and put 25 plus in their favour, as you said. So the question I know that will continue to be posed is how long can the Saints play at this level for? And Jeff, I know you're thinking that they can continue to roll on like this for 4 quarters.
Yeah, I truly believe that. I feel that the scoreboard's not a really reflection on, at the moment, how well the Saints have played. Like
Both teams have had 12 scoring shots.
Yeah, I know, but I feel that I'm just commentating purely on what I see, and I feel that the Saints' defence structure is set up really, really well, and it sets up really early. They're winning their in and unders. They're winning their uncontested footy, so they're getting onto those loose balls. They're marking inside forward 50. So, I think that there's got to be a real change in Brisbane's mindset right now, and I reckon it starts from the halfback line.
What about the mindset of the change just prior to quarter time? Eric Hipwood goes down with a potentially very serious knee injury. He's medically subbed by Reece Matheson. What's the massive change for Brisbane now in mindset with Eric Hipwood out of the equation, not only for tonight, but perhaps for several weeks to come?
I think you obviously you can only deal with what's in front of you tonight, so there's going to be a reshuffle. I was interested. They sent Reece Matheson straight to the forward line in that second quarter, which I don't think worked overly well. I think Matheson is the bench role as the first interchange player for the midfield. Play him on ball. I don't think it was working as a defensive half forward or whatever he was trying to do. You've got to reshuffle. You're missing that height in Hipwood. It means McStay continues to step up, which we've seen him do throughout this season anyway, and Joe Danaher's work rate has to jump up again because Hipwood's not there. Long-term, guys, I think we can probably talk about it post-match, but I think maybe Connor McFadden's probably sitting there thinking his chance might be coming soon.
Absolutely. Came back from knee reconstructions as well, Connor McFadden. He's come back really well this year.
Second half about to get underway on the Gold Coast with St Kilda leading by 10 points. It's a wobbly bounce which should be recalled. And yeah, they're just trying their best, but it's a deflating moment at the start of a half.
It just sucks the air out of the joint, doesn't it?
Take 2. Thrown in the air, Hipwood and Ryder. Ryder taps down beautifully. After all of that, a perfect centre clearance until Crouch's kick was semi-hindered by Zorko's pressure. He effects a turnover. Lions picks up for Brisbane. Hand passes to McCluggage out in the wing. Kick to half forward out in front of Danaher. He's buffeted off it by Howard. And the ball spills out of play for a throw-in. Brisbane attacking the right of your radio dial, the southern end, in this third quarter.
Howard's been good on Danaher tonight too.
Well, only the 4 touches for Joe Danaher. The throw in on the arc of 50. Ryder beats McInerney. Comes off hands, back into the hands of Ryder, but he's turned it over. McCluggage by hand to Lachie Neale. Wheeling onto the right foot, kicking it inside 50. McStay with the fly. Brought to ground. Roving well, McCarthy. Handball off there. Bailey, it's kicked to the top of the square. Cameron, will he get there? No. Ooh. Burns came back with the flight. He was taken out, and he'll get the free kick. Play on advantage. Bradley Hill takes off for St Kilda, but he's turned the ball over on the arc. Brisbane with a chance. Zach Bailey, handball McCluggage, goes one way then the other from 45. McCarthy puts it towards Charlie Cameron, who tries to keep it in, but taps it over the boundary line in the left forward pocket. There will be a throw in. A little bit more of speed and intensity in the early stages of this third quarter.
Brisbane deep in attack. Ball tossed into the night sky. Ryder got rid of Danaher, but Bailey roves brilliantly and kicks another goal in this fine season for him. Zach Bailey read that beautifully. His first of the night is his 22nd goal of the season. It's 4 points the difference. And he'd have to be in the top 3, if not top 5 of Brisbane's best and fairest at the moment.
He'd be up there, Q. I think he's having certainly a quieter night tonight. Nice start to the second half for Zach Bailey. But, Jeff, I'm interested in your thoughts. We're waiting on the replay to see that Oscar McInerney tap behind his head, straight down Zach Bailey's throat. It looks good from here. Wouldn't mind seeing that on the replay.
I called it with Ryder tapping. So
no, I
was looking at Joe.
I may have got it wrong. Let's have a look.
I was looking at Joe Danaher's effort in this. Look, it's like
Ryder laid it straight down to him.
But I really want to see him just go back and use his body. He's a big fella.
He's getting pushed around too easy, isn't he?
He just really looked like he.
He's almost in danger of getting a free kick against him for simulation.
Again,
there. I'll say it, Whitey. Almost in danger there.
I'll look at that, and Ryder won it clearly, but it wasn't a really hard contest in the back.
And given circumstances over the last couple of weeks, if you were Joe, you'd make every effort to be strong in the contest. Let's put it that way. Anyway, the ball falls at the feet of the ruckman again. Jack Steele involved. He is a nugget for St Kilda. Just keeps battling away for the ball. He loses it this time, though. Picked up by Big O. Kicks it inside 50. Clash of bodies. Roved by Bailey. Handball there, Charlie Cameron. Handball back into the path of Bailey. Cut off by Brad Hill. Tackled by Bailey. Still tackled by Bailey. Let's loose the ball. McStay off the outside of his left boot is the perfect pass. Okay, it was a fluke, but it was the perfect floating pass to Joe Danaher in the forward pocket. Joe facing the middle of the ground and immediately looking to play on and curl it around with his right foot. He's only 20 metres out. Man on the mark, ready to take off as if on a sprint. Danaher plays on and kicks the goal. His first. Miraculously, Brisbane back in front, 6-8-44 to the Saints 6-6-42 after 4 minutes of the third quarter.
Zane on the boundary.
Well, I was just going to say before Danaher kicked that goal that's what he should be doing, trying to get marks and trying to get and kick goals rather than playing for free kicks. It's been happening far too long, and I'm sure Lions fans would even agree with that.
He stood unchecked in the forward pocket, just watching all of the junk unfold, and the skewed kick, which accidentally fell into his lap. He'd literally been standing there for at least 20 seconds and got lucky, I reckon.
You come up with some wonderfully eloquent broadcasting and analysis, Lauren, and that was another gem. Watching the junk unfold. Perfectly described.
You saw what I saw. You started laughing as soon as he marked it because he was just standing there watching it.
He was goofing off in the pocket, and a massive fat-headed kick from McStay fell in his lap. Centre bounce, no clearance. We'll do it again. First 2 goals of the third quarter to Brisbane, and the Lions are in front by 2 points at 6-8 to 6-6. Ball tossed up, still in the middle of the ground. Ryder over the top of McInerney. Crouch tries to pick it up. Can't, has to play tackler on Neal. It's neutralised. We'll do it again. Still near the bullseye in the middle of this pristine playing surface. Quickly thrown in the air. Ryder taps down, ricochets off Dunstan's chest to Ross. Got a hand pass to a man who was tackled by Zorko. Couldn't even see him because all I can see is 1 and 5 and maroon, gold and blue all over. It was Jack Steele who was ridden into the turf.
Perhaps there might have been a message to harness Jack Steele. You see Lockie Neal there running with Brad Crouch as well. It's extricated by St Kilda through Dunstan, goes towards half forward. It's Butler off the ground. It's taken by Marcus Adams, who wore it very well with traffic oncoming. Handball to Starcevic. He gets it out to half back, but it's taken there by Brad Hill in front of Archie. He comes laterally, Burns. The youngster plays on, gets onto the right foot. He's got a man in the pocket by himself. Talk about goofing off for 20 seconds. Membry had nobody near him and took the mark. 35 out, but his right leg is only a metre or so away from the boundary line.
Again, a couple of Lions defenders caught ball watching after it exits their defensive 50.
Now, Tim Membry. Very difficult kick. as we see pictures of Eric Hipwood sitting on the bench looking quite forlorn. As the tattooed one, Tim Membry for the Saints comes in. Hard against the boundary line. He's hit that very nicely. Exquisite kick of the ball. Tim Membry and the Saints go ahead. 7-6-48 to 6-8-44. We've played about 7 minutes of the third quarter on Grandstand AFL. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Yeah, Ben Long's about to come back on. He's had some running repairs. He had a problem with his right ankle. It's been strapped up, and now he's about to come back onto the field.
What a finish from Membry. Just the ability to spread, though. I think that's been the key to the Saints tonight, and being able to get those marks inside forward 50. Not only they're working with each other, but the ability to spread. They've had a few shots. I think Butler had a shot from the boundary, but just the ability to spread, and just keeps the Brisbane defence on their toes and not being able to zone, so just putting it off the line a little bit just to give them opportunities.
They've got to go on with this to earn some trust, I think, within themselves and a bit of respect around the competition. Cogged down when they should have flogged Collingwood, gave up the Saints, game in Cairns. Talking about the Saints here.
Correct.
This looks like they are the better team at the moment, but do you trust them? We've got to wait and see. McInerney spikes it to half forward for Brisbane. Coleman was held without the ball, and he'll get a free kick for Brisbane. Do you trust him, Loz? That's the question, isn't it?
I'll let him play for 4 quarters and then decide for you.
Well, here's Kadeen Coleman, 60 out at centre half forward for Brisbane. Kicks it to the top of the goal mouth. Fly McStay, 2-grab mark. Oh, Eric Hipwood sitting watching on with ice on what we expect is a ruptured ACL. But Big Mac pulls down the pack mark, 25 metres out.
He did well to mark that, because right in front of him was Paddy Ryder jumping on Oscar's head.
Well, he's had one poster tonight. This is straight in front. 30 metres out for Daniel McStay to return Brisbane to the lead. He's kicked it. What a contest of thrust and parry this is. Lions 7-8. Saints 7-6. 9 minutes third term.
Jeff, pretty keen to ask you, it just feels like a bit of a shift in that centre bounce in this term. I know McInerney got a pretty big spike away, as Q called it, from that centre bounce there, which got that forward momentum going for the Lions. Have you seen a shift between the Ryder-McInerney duel?
No, I think what I have seen, though, throughout the course of the night is that McInerney's been trying to get back as that +1 behind the ball. That's allowed Ryder to actually go work inside centre half forward and be target. So then it's dragged Oscar out to pick up Ryder. And then on the other side, that's why both of them were right in the goal square just then. McInerney's like, okay, you're going to do it to me, I'll do it to you. I'll go forward and make you defend. So it's been a bit of an arm wrestle, but Paddy Ryder's still jumping really, really well in the centre bounce.
5 clearances to 1 early in this third quarter to Brisbane make that 6 as McInerney gets it forward. McKenzie tackled, still gets the handball away. Saints under pressure. Crouch now back to McKenzie. He goes through the corridor, tackled by McCluggage, got the handball off to Zach Jones. He puts it out onto the commentary wing. And Ryan Burns, the youngster, he goes laterally, misses the target, enters Zorko onto the logo. Little chip ball to Danaher. Danaher looks back inboard. Wheels around onto the left. Charlie Cameron, the target at the back. There's a whistle on play. It's going to be a free kick. It's going to go to St Kilda.
Against Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron just trying to do the unselfish thing, but a really obvious block for Dan McStay to jump at that footy.
Only the 3 touches tonight for Charlie Cameron so far.
Wilkie gets the free kick at fullback. A very short chip to Sinclair, who... No, in fact, that is Connolly in the right back pocket. Similar hairdo flowing out the back of those black locks. The wing and through hands. Payne does the roving for Brisbane. Hands it out the back to Rich. He kicks it back to half forward. Coleman in front. Couldn't take the mark under the pressure of Cant, and he's locked up. No, it was Webster with the spoil, and he's holding the ball. Webster jumped on his back and was under Kitty's chest, and it's deemed holding it. Free kick to Jimmy Webster at half back. St Kilda trailing by 2 points.
Webster wants to change the angle, comes out to the commentary wing. McCluggage takes the mark for Brisbane in front of McKenzie, right on the logo commentary box side. He's got a leader, McStay. Obviously his role increasing with Hipwood off the ground injured. He goes laterally back to the logo to Daniel Rich, the designated kicker for the Brisbane Lions. There's no movement in front of him, and just about every player on the paddock basically there. He chips a 15-metre kick barely to Harris Andrews. Harris Andrews in kind does the same thing to Reece Matheson, the self-appointed barometer of this Brisbane side. I think it might have been a little overblown as he gets back to Daniel Rich. He loads up with a long kick inside 50. That is a magnificent mark taken by young Tom Highmore. He is a great defensive mark and does it well for St Kilda on this occasion.
Really impressive grab. His kick's pretty good too. Finds Marshall still in the corridor inside defensive 50. Kicks the Saints to the half-back flank and just beyond for Long. March plays on with a hand pass to Jones. Holds up for a moment, Zach Jones. Then stands still. Hand passes backwards to Crouch. Crouch chips it along the wing back to Long, who takes the mark, but the Saints are still inside their own half, albeit just on that outer side. 2 points the lead to Brisbane. Long kicks along the Narang River wing. Marshall has it spoiled away by McCarthy. Rove by Lions of Brisbane. Hand pass to Payne. Rights the tackle of Ross to get a hand pass to Madden. Under pressure, just a hoping handball into the chop and won by Burns of the Saints. Hands through Billings to McKenzie. Hand pass back to the middle of the ground. Dunstan now the kick inside 50 mark by Membry. He's 45 metres out. Gee, it's a hard footy to win out there. Membry doesn't go for goal. Kicks for the pocket. It'll bounce in front of King. Close to the boundary line. His hand pass is smothered out of play by Coleman. Throw in 30 metres around from the Saints' goal. It's Brisbane by 2 points. Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, Jack Sinclair's just got back out on the field. He had some serious work done to his right ankle as well. The strappers for the Saints doing a lot of strapping tonight, I can tell you.
Throw in inside, attacking 50 for the Saints. Taken out of the ruck by McInerney. Immediately thrown onto the boot over the head of Danaher and Dougal Howard. It's cleaned up by Callum Wilkie for the Saints. Here it comes on the left shoe now towards Zach Jones. He wasn't aware he had to go for it, and when he was aware, he flew in front of Matheson and took a ripping mark. Well done, Zach Jones. 70 metres out from goal. He kicks it into the forward pocket looking for King and spoiled by Harris Andrews over the boundary line to throw in the forward pocket for the Saints.
Very wide entry for King.
Yeah, but at least they're spreading the zone, though. It's obviously a ploy by the Saints. They're happy to have a stop play.
Throw in, St Kilda in attack. Membry taps to the front of the pack for St Kilda, but rode by Madden of Brisbane. Terrific hand pass to Lions. Hold on. It's going to come back. No advantage. It's going to be a Brisbane free kick. I think Madden was slung by Butler. Yep. So Lincoln McCarthy now has to trot all the way to the edge of the centre square and kick the ball back. He's actually gone for the 40-metre grubber, Peter Sterling style.
Very good kick.
Very good grubber. See, you come to Queensland, you'll learn all manner of skills. So it's back with Madden now, just forward to full back. He chips it to Rich, who takes the mark inside defensive 50. We're 14 and a half minutes into this third term. It's a tight old affair, this one. 7-8 to 7-6, Brisbane in front. Rich chips it to Adams. And now Adams is called to get on with it, right where the 50 meets the boundary paint. Kicks it to the western wing. McStay tries to spoil Marshall. Couldn't. Mark paid to Marshall of St Kilda. True centre wing, western side. He's going to boom a right foot drop punt into attack for St Kilda. King's got a couple to beat. Ricochets off hands. King couldn't pick it up there, but Billings Roves gave to Jones, holding the ball. Free kick McCluggage of Brisbane.
This is where Brisbane's got to go quick now. They've got to spread the defence instead of being stop-start.
McCluggage elects to come out to the commentary box side through the hands of McStay. Lockie Neal, handball now to the run of Archie. He kicks it towards half forward, but it was always set up for Dougal Howard for St Kilda on the paint of 50. He was 15 metres away from Danaher. He goes laterally, finds his teammate there in Webster. He goes to right half back to find Seb Ross. Then 20 metres forward, Ben Long. They're retaining the ball, the Saints. They're plus 28 in disposals against Brisbane at the moment. Leading the count in tackles as well. A long kick down the outer wing. That's a really well-read situation from Marcus Adams. Took the mark. He just grows with every week. I'm not saying size-wise either, Jeff White. He's a monster.
He's been outstanding tonight.
To think he's in game 52 of his career, and this is his 14th consecutive, the longest stretch he's been able to put together. Switch to centre half back. Andrews has time to have a bounce to the middle of the ground. Kicks wide to half forward for Mitch Robinson. Takes the mark too far out to score. Robinson's kick. Looking for Cameron in the pocket. Flies on the side. Got nowhere near it. Mark taken by Highmore, who's having a good game for St Kilda. Highmore there in the left back pocket in just his 10th game. The young man from Canberra, who, as Pricey mentioned, went through the sandful to get onto an AFL list. A very short kick there to the boy from 2650. First Wagga reference of the night. Dougal Howard's got it in the left back pocket for the Saints.
You've done well, Q. Jimmy Webster receives it from Dougal Howard. Still inside defensive 50. Nice running from Sinclair. Accepted the handball. 2-on-1. This kick to the outer wing. Dev Robertson did well to try and get there, but Seb Ross took a beautiful mark. Under pressure from Robertson, he got the handball to the runner, Zach Jones, who went to 55 from goal. Kicks it in the Marshall direction, but floating across. McInerney, he couldn't take the mark. Picked up by Butler. Snapped from 35. It's a goal.
They're calling it touched.
Well,
they're calling it touched.
There's going to be a conference as Daniel Rich raised his little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms and said, "That was touched, sir." We will have a conference.
It wasn't only him. That was about, I think, 10 of the Brisbane players put their hands up.
2 points the margin. Just seeing on the replay.
Looking at this angle, you can see the ball is touched by the right hand of the Brisbane defender.
Well, world record time, that review from the arc, and you could see why it came off the little pinky finger of Brandon Starcevic.
So it narrows Brisbane's lead to 1 point. 7-8-50 plays 7-7-49. It goes down as a rushed score for the Saints. Now Rich runs beyond the goal mouth, kicks the ball back to the wing. McStay flies in a 2-on-2, got a hand, can't mark. Archie rose, but is tackled fiercely by Kent. No Pryor. And a ball up will take place at left half forward for St Kilda. Right half back for Brisbane. 18 third term. A point that if the locals in front. At the coal face, Neal has to play tackler over Brad Crouch to lock it in. And again, there's just a bit of shrugging going on. Jones is there with Robinson. That is fantastic. Two really hard footy players protecting their men. Marshall gives away a free kick at the ruck contest. Got over the shoulder of McInerney.
He's working his way back into the game now, McInerney.
Big O, yeah. It's a silly free kick from Marshall, though. I know they remonstrated before, but just got to hold your composure there.
He's gathered the 14 disposals, make this his 15th, with Ryder only a half dozen. At the back of the pack, McCarthy couldn't quite take the mark. At the front of the pack was Lockie Neal. It was Zorko who fell over the top of him and the ball stuck underneath the pair. In front of the interchange gates, we'll get a throw in as the Lions ring the changes there. Jared Lyons comes on, also Starcevic as Daniel Rich goes off, also Bailey. Now Marshall in the ruck for St Kilda, got it down McKenzie. Under pressure, handball inboard there. It was to Kent. Kent to Hill. They kept running through the corridor. Sinclair, delicate little kick at an angle. He found McKenzie. McKenzie on the left. Beautiful kick.
Great play.
Tim Membry takes the mark. Best passage of football I've seen the Saints put together tonight.
Just the ability to run and work together. There was 3 players working with each other and just have the mindset to know that your teammates there running in support.
Tim Membry's got 1 goal, 1 for the evening. Usually a good kick for goal. Saints trailing by 1 point. And for all their hard work, would love this one. Tim Membry from 25. No mistake. His second. And the Saints back in front. 8-7-55 plays 7-8-50. 5 points the margin after 20 minutes of the third quarter.
Can they keep it up?
It seems so far, Q. I really love the electric work from that stoppage, Jeff. Like a midfield stoppage closer to Brisbane's goal than anything, but the ability to spread and move that ball that quickly, and Mackenzie's nice little chip to Membry's lead looked really nice. I've been watching a little bit the last few minutes. Dunstan's job on Lockie Neal around the stoppage has been comprehensive, and even the spread from stoppage, Dunstan's wearing Lockie Neal like a glove.
Zach Jones started that. He's just injected, wonderful, contested footy. He's been really good below his knees. Once again involved in that play, but just that little chip kick, not to blaze away, that little chip kick off the line to give him inside 50.
Lauren Arnell and Jeff White on Grandstand AFL. From the centre bounce clearance, Neal for Brisbane. Hand pass out the back to Zorko. Kick to half forward and a pack. Juggling mark. Is that Highmore again? Yes, it is. He's had a fantastic game in just his 10th senior appearance. Chip short to Crouch. Marks right half back. Hand pass out to the wing. Connolly hands it back infield to Crouch. Through hands to Mackenzie to Crouch. They're using their hands to run the wing. Now the kick is a poor one from the ex-Crow. Marked by Neil of Brisbane at left half back for the Lions. Approaching 22 minutes, third term. St Kilda leading by 5 points. Neil decides to hand pass to Adams defensively. He kicks it all the way back to fullback for Andrews for the reset.
So Harris Andrews looks to go straight up the middle. Finds Birchall at centre half back. Turns around and delivers a beautiful left foot kick towards Archie. It had a fair bit of air in it, so Dougal Howard had plenty of time to get to it. Roving was Sinclair, went across half back and found his target there in Dean Kent, the late inclusion after Mason Wood was a late out. His handball off there to Connolly, who put it to centre half forward. Brisbane Lions with a chance. They're dispossessed though. The ball spills. Zach Jones picks it up. Goes back. Great vision. Finds young Leo Connolly 30 metres out directly in front. Didn't blaze away under pressure. Found his teammate. Shot at goal for the Saints.
It's just a totally different way. The Saints are getting at half-back line. They're winning the contest, getting the ball to ground, and then their ability to run, work into space. Brisbane gets the ball, stop, start. They've really done their homework, the Saints, on the Brisbane.
Big moment for young Leo Connolly, taken at number 69 in the 2019 draft. The boy from Maui in Victoria has a chance from 35, kicks his first goal in AFL football and extends St Kilda's lead. They get around him too here at Carrara. Well done, young man. 9-7-61. The Saints 11 points in front of Brisbane. 7-8-50 with 23 and a half gone to the first quarter.
A really nice composed finish from Leo Connolly. Fun to watch a player kick his first goal in AFL footy. But as Jeff's talking about, Lions just continually shut down by the Saints across St Kilda's half-back line. Just been dominant. Lions definitely missing Eric Hipwood through that patch of the ground when they need a lead-up mark or a bit of space on a defender. Because of the pressure St Kilda's applying, the Lions mids just keep kicking to a 2-on-1, and a couple of times this quarter it's been Cal Archie outnumbered, and Highmore's been benefiting from that. He's taken 5 marks now. Saints just dominant and not allowing Brisbane to enter inside 50 and really projecting quickly going back the other way.
We saw a lot of the Saints last year in the hub. This is them of 2020 at the moment.
Can they keep it up? Centre clearance, Lions for Brisbane. Hacks it inside 50. Got to the fingers of McStay. Couldn't mark under pressure. Webster Roves. Hands to Crouch. Hands to Steele. Hands to Dunstan. Space in the middle of the ground for the Saints. Dunstan's kicked to half-forward Andrews. Nudged Marshall underneath the ball and takes a fine one-on-one defender's mark at right half-back on defensive 50. Textbook execution. Andrews kicks to the wing in a pack. Off hands again, the Saints with the Rove. Mackenzie there, very short kick to Long, not 15. He plays on hands to Dunstan, hands to Crouch, gets a kick away before the tackle of McCarthy. It's a good kick too. Kent marks at 40 from goal. Tough angle to the left.
Same story again. Harris Andrews kicks down the line to Lincoln McCarthy and Cal Archie out of height against the Saints defenders. Saints flick back the other way super fast.
Brisbane just haven't been able to find that little short chip kick, then have runners from behind. They're just accepting to kick long and hope for a big mark.
Kent, the late in for Mason Wood, who was scratching with a hamstring. Looking to make it a 17-point lead for the Saints. His left boot is always left side, and lucky to register a minor score to neat the diff at 9-8-62 to 7-8-50, 25 and a half third term.
Daniel Rich to bring the ball back in for Brisbane. Typically long left foot kick. Finds Harris Andrews 70 away from his own goal at left half back. Again, not a lot of movement. James Madden provides some run. He chips it towards him, and great spoiling effort there. No, umpire has called it a free kick for a chop of the arms against Tim Membry. It will be a free kick to the Irishman, James Madden, boy from County Dublin. Just short of centre wing out of side, the Nerang River side of the ground. It's the Saints by a couple of goals after 26 minutes.
Chip mark, Birchall at left half back. He now promotes it forward of the half-back flank to Adams, who can mark and roam to the wing. Pressured by Long, but gets his kick away to Marcus Adams. Into the pocket. 2-on-2. It goes beyond the pack. Wilkie first back there for St Kilda. Hard on the boundary. Snaps it clear brilliantly to Mackenzie, who marks it left half-back. And there's space to go, but no one to go to. So he has to go conservatively with a chip around the boundary line to the goal kicker, Kent. Or should I say, the man who had the last shot but missed, Kent. He now kicks down the line and back to Mackenzie. Zorko standing on the mark, a little frustrated. Kicked 3 goals in the first half in this his 200th game. Mackenzie, precise with a very short pass to Burns. Burns on the wing, kicks back into the corridor. Marshall marks. He'll play on quickly. Numbers are plenty inside 50. And his kick is marked by Billings 45 metres out.
Just the ability to actually take that risk. That's a risky kick, but just the ability to take it on and just spread the defence of Brisbane.
Oh, Saints fans, I feel you this season. There have been more ups and downs than those roller coaster rides we drive past on the way down the M1 here, Pricey. But they're going all right tonight. They're a thrill a minute. Can Billings make it a 3-goal lead in the shadows of three-quarter time? Yes! No. Sorry. Oh, the goal ump was right underneath it.
Didn't move.
Took a long time before the slap of the pectoral. 13 points the difference. 9-9, 63 to 7-8. 50. Gave goal ump a long time there.
He had me going too, Q. Don't worry about that.
Very theatrical wait for the pectoral slap.
Exactly. He was like one of those guys in the ice cream coach from the 70s, taking his time. So here comes Daniel Rich again to bring the ball back in for Brisbane.
Was that a posthumous pectoral?
Exactly right.
Almost.
And another good kick finds Birchall. He's had several options he looked at, but then decided to go back to the run of Rich. It's a sizzling long ball to the outer wing, to the lead of Danaher, who did well to make it there. He went right, but then went left and had the kick smothered. Turnover. Saints with the ball through. Brad Hill gets it back to Jack Steele by hand. Out to Sinclair. They've got a couple of numbers. Harris Andrews comes in to try and disrupt things, but Hill comes away with the ball. Gets away from Danaher. Gets the handball across now to Seb Ross. Bumped as he kicks it inside 50. Spoilt from Starcevich. The ball away from Kent. Now it's with Lockie Neal, handball backwards inside defensive 50 to the standing Daniel Rich. A 50-metre kick from a standing start, but that was a great bit of work. St Kilda through Wilkie.
Took the grab, kicks it back to the logo edge of the centre square to Marshall. He goes all the way back to centre half back. Mark's taken by Membry. He's going to kick it wide to Mackenzie. They've got half a minute to try and find something here, the Saints. Mackenzie has Webster running at half forward. Marks kicks inside 50 over the head of the leading rider. Back of the pack, it's Andrews in the pocket for Brisbane. Hand passes to Adams at D50. Releasing kick back towards the wing. McCarthy slides to the drop. He takes the mark. If they go, they're half a chance to score. Hand pass to McCluggage. Hand pass to Robinson. He's in the bullseye. Chip to centre half forward. Bailey marks just beyond his best kick. No one in the forward line for him, though. Has to flare wide to the half-forward flank. Lions marks, kicks it, doesn't get to Zorko in time. And Zorko, having completed the mark frustratedly, throws the Sherrin to the ump, realising he was milliseconds away almost from another shot on goal on the siren. But it's St Kilda leading at Carrara at three-quarter time by 13 points. The 7 and 8 Saints, who have been up and down and round about all over the place this season, poised to make a huge statement that they are in the fight for the 8 still here in 2021 against the Lions team, who has seen Eric Hipwood limp from the field with what looks like an ACL injury and perhaps just losing a cog or two if they can't get out of this one in the race for the top 2, with the Doggies, D's and Cats all sniffing around that top 4. Three-quarter time at Carrara, St Kilda 9-9, 63. Brisbane 7-8, 50. 3 goals for Max King. They all came in the second quarter. 2 goals for Tim Membry. Both came in that quarter. And singles to Crouch, Billings, Burns and Connolly. While for Brisbane, the 200-game captain, Dane Zorko, has 3. And single goals to Danaher, Archie, McStay and Bailey. 13 points the lead to the Saints at three-quarter time. In the NRL, repeating that big news that State of Origin 3 is going to be held at Robina because of the COVID situation in Newcastle. New South Wales, really, with Newcastle originally slated for that third game after it was originally slated for Sydney, so to speak. So that's going to be played at Robina on the Gold Coast on Wednesday. In the NRL tonight, just the one game, and the Sydney Roosters have beaten the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs by 22 points to 16. A night full of stories. Lauren Arnell and Jeff White will tell you more of how we've got here and what's to come. Hope you're enjoying Saturday Night Footy on Grandstand AFL.
Surprise!
There's good surprises.
Oh, thanks, guys.
And bad surprises.
Make me the happiest man alive.
No.
Oh. Like that. Look, go for the good surprises, friends. Good surprises only. Here's one, ABC iView. It's filled with jaw-dropping comedy, eye-popping drama, and heaps of mind-blowing television. Download the app now on your phone, tablet or smart TV. ABC iView. Don't be surprised if you're surprised.
ABC Sport.
Can a red-hot Ash Barty win Wimbledon?
She's already the first Aussie woman in 41 years to make the final.
This is as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and now we get a chance to try and live out a childhood dream.
Catch Ash as she chases her first Wimbledon crown on ABC Radio.
And ABC Sport Digital Radio tonight. ABC Sport on Social is your sports conversation on the go. Video, player insight and analysis. This is the content you never knew you needed. Get ABC Sport wherever you scroll.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
Brisbane deep in attack. Ball tossed into the night sky. Ryder got rid of Danaher, but Bailey roves brilliantly and kicks another goal in this fine season for him.
Joe facing the middle of the ground and immediately looking to play on and curl it around with his right foot. He's only 20 metres out. Danaher plays on and kicks the goal. As the tattooed one, Tim Membry for the Saints comes in. Hard against the boundary line. He's hit that very nicely. Exquisite kick of the ball. Tim Membry.
Kadeen Coleman 60 out at centre half forward for Brisbane. Kicks it to the top of the goal mouth. Fly McStay, two-grab mark. This is straight in front. 30 metres out for Daniel McStay to return Brisbane to the lead. He's kicked it.
To Hill, they kept running through the corridor. Sinclair, delicate little kick at an angle. He found McKenzie. McKenzie on the left, beautiful kick.
Great play.
Tim Membry takes the mark. Tim Membry from 25. No mistake. Zach Jones picks it up, goes back, great vision. Finds young Leo Connolly 30 metres out directly in front. Big moment for young Leo Connolly. Has a chance. From 35, kicks his first goal in AFL football.
The 2021 AFL Premiership season on ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
It's a tight old fight to make the top 8 in 2021. St Kilda right among the crush at 7 and 8 coming into this round. Brisbane trying to keep its claims for a top 2 position right among the fight there at 11 and 4. But it's the Saints leading by 13 points at three-quarter time on a night of high drama here at Carrara. Injury news of substance with Eric Hipwood all but confirmed to have ruptured an ACL. Chris Fagan, the Brisbane Lions coach, has spoken to TV broadcast about that, and we've had, all manner of analysis. But after he went down in a marking contest in the first term, he was subbed out, and it looks like his season is over. Max King with 3 goals, Dane Zorko with 3 goals. So many angles to attack this from. And thank you for your messages. Just remember to send your name and where you're texting from. If you do, send us a message. The number is 0437 774 774. This unnamed text, but worth reading out. I'm a very happy St Kilda supporter. The Saints are playing with belief and trust in each other. They have a very good game plan. Their defence has been terrific. Look forward to St Kilda hopefully winning tonight and remaining in finals contention. Go Saints. And by the way, Stan and Geelong, Lauren, liked your junk call for the kick that ended up with the Joe Danaher goal.
Thanks, Stan.
I love your voice then, Q, reading out that text. I'm very excited. It's good. Raised your voice.
Well,
expression of
Who would have
Passionate Saints fans.
Who would have thought that a broadcaster has those skills?
No, you certainly do.
Can we trust him?
Yeah.
Can we trust him tonight?
Well, I think there was a positive from the positive from the Brisbane's point of view. They have not played anywhere near as what they can play, and they're only down by 13 points. Saints, yes, we have to see if they can maintain this level of intensity they had for 3 quarters.
What do you reckon, Lauren?
Saints have been awesome. 14 marks inside 50 to 6. You'd assume that continues based on the first 3 quarters of the game.
Is that your opinion or an assumption?
I still like to back the Lions in, but I think the Saints are running over the top of them.
Well, Zach Jones just burst out of the middle with the clearance, kicked it to half forward, full-chested. It was taken there by Kent.
I'm going to give a ruck mention there. The tap from Paddy Ryder was outstanding.
Kent chips it inside 50. Membry on the lead.
15 marks inside 50 to the Saints now. They're just so aggressive offensively tonight.
And they're just their run, we spoke about it at 3/4 time, their ability to run together. They've had 60 uncontested possessions more than Brisbane. Their ability to run and work together.
Tim Membry has taken the mark on the lead in front of Marcus Adams. 30 metres out, he's on a 45-degree angle to the left. He has a couple of goals on board already for the Saints. They lead by 13. This would be the perfect start to the final term for St Kilda. Membry comes in. He's pushed it across. Punched through by McInerney. The big O for Brisbane. One behind results for St Kilda. 9-10-64, plays 7-8-50. Now a 4-point margin after a minute of the last quarter.
Rich goes very short to Lyons, back to Rich, and his kick to left half back, marked by Coleman near the boundary, but beyond defensive 50 for Brisbane. Lithe looking number 18, Kadeen Coleman, kicks to a pack on the wing. Ryder, third in line. Boy, he's been important. What a player he is. Paddy Ryder taking the mark on the wing for St Kilda, chips in field. Jones couldn't mark first time, but ropes his own crumb. Oh, Brad Hill wasn't looking as the handball came past his back into his stomach, and then he got tackled, and that's holding the ball. That is crazy from Brad Hill. So unaware.
Going to get 50.
And now he's got his legs all over the footy and very lucky not to give away 50. Coleman eventually picks it up. Plays on from the wing for Brisbane. Kicks into attack. Guess who's back there? How many of there are there? Just one, I think, number 18. What a game Paddy Ryder is playing Jeff White.
He goes laterally now and finds Dougal Howard. St Kilda defence standing up beautifully at this stage. You look at the likes of Charlie Cameron, only the 3 touches. Danaher's crept up there with 7. But, they've tried to play on. Danaher applies a tackle to Howard. Goes back to Hill by hand. He tried to measure a pass to Zach Jones. Close attention paid by Kadeen Coleman. Too close, said the umpire. It was a high shot. So Zach Jones will take the free kick on the paint of 50 at right half back. He looks up the line. He's got Paddy Ryder just short of centre wing. It broke away from Oscar McInerney, but it was Starcevic who came in. It was out of bounds on the full. Starcevic came in to try and take the mark. Ryder met him with a bump. Starcevic has been...
He's hurt.
He's looked at on the ground. He collided with the fence. Paddy bumped him around the boundary area. As we get the free kick and play on McCluggage. Long kick inside 50. Danaher at the back drags it down. Wilkie did beautifully. Got the handball away to Zach Jones. Great tackle. Kadeen Coleman dislodges the ball. Picked up McCluggage 30 metres out. His kick was smothered off hands. It comes to Zorko. Tackled there by Connolly. He just dropped it, did Zorko. Picked up by Lockie Neal. Curling it around. The mark's going to be taken by Link McCarthy. So it was a little ugly. But the Lions are going to get a shot from 40 out.
And all that while now, Brandon Starcevic is able to run to the interchange. I think they were worried about the way he wrenched his neck with his head hitting the LED hoardings.
And they're spiky little things, the LED fences as well. So we'll see Link McCarthy now to line up for a vital goal for the Brisbane Lions. They're trailing by 14 points after 4 minutes of the final quarter. McCarthy from 40 out, leans back and pulls it left. Chance missed for the Brisbane Lions. 51 plays 64, 13 points the margin, 4 gone, final quarter.
Sinclair's going to bring in for St Kilda Long kick in the King direction. Too tall for Dan Rich by about 1.5 feet. It was like he was all on top of him there. King hands it back to Sinclair. The mullet flowing as he kicks to the wing. Ross spoiled away by Zorko. Ground level, won by Brisbane's Rich. Hands it to McCluggage. Little kick to half forward. Doesn't aid Bailey. Couldn't pick it up. Highmore wins it for St Kilda. Hands it to Hill. Close to the boundary, hands it back to Highmore. He hands it along the boundary to Jones, really working it in tight along the boundary. Gave it to King by hand. He to Butler. Now the kick from the wing to half forward. Madden uses his body well to protect the drop. Get rid of Long and take the mark for Brisbane at left half back. Score check at Carrara. St Kilda by 13 points at 9-10-64 to 7-9-51.
Good footy smarts from the man from County Dublin there. Long kick to the wing as well. Kadeem Coleman at ground level, diving handball towards Danaher. He lets it loose towards Lockie Neal, bounces off Howard, gave it to McCarthy, tackled over the boundary line, and Howard actually had the ball and then handballed it over the boundary line. The crowd wanted deliberate. That wasn't going to happen. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Yeah, I think it's less structural and more concussion that they're worried about with Starcevic.
Throw in right in front of the grandstand commentary box. McInerney in front of Ryder, got it down, but Zach Jones took the clearance. Handball to Steele. Enormous handball under pressure. Got it out to Seb Ross, back to Burns, back to Dunstan. It's a long left foot kick towards half forward. Well read by Marcus Adams. Good spoil though. Brought it to ground by Membry. Cleaned up there by Brisbane through Birchall. Harris Andrews back to Birchall by hand.
He'll kick it wide to the wing for Neal. Marks in space just forward of halfway. Kick infield on the 45, marked by Zorko. Rolls inboard. Hand pass to Rich. Will he unleash from the centre square? Yes, it's long. It's deep. It's a behind. It's a behind, having just shaved the post inside padding. 2 goals to diff. 9-10 to 7-10.
Distance wasn't an issue there, was it? It was magnificent as the ball ends up right in front of us again. Paddy Ryder. It's been a monumental battle between he and Oscar McInerney this evening. Bit of help from Rowan Marshall as well. Seb Ross has it for St Kilda on the commentary wing. Goes laterally by 15 metres to find Brad Hill. Getting plenty of the ball himself tonight, 15 disposals as well. He goes laterally across the half-back line. Jimmy Webster wants to keep going in that direction to the other side of the ground, to left half-back. Callum Wilkie. Another little 15-metre kick to find Billings on the outer side of the ground. They're just sharing it around, St Kilda.
Their work rate's really good, Pricey.
They're just running around, aren't they? And the Lions are pretty stagnant at the moment. There's Memory has it on the outer wing, kicks it towards half forward, comes off hands. Lockie Neal inside defensive 50 for Brisbane. He tries to measure a pass. It's turned over at half forward for the Saints. It's going inside 50. Jack Steele takes the mark. 40 metres out with a little angle to the left. The Brisbane crowd doesn't like it, and there's a Brisbane player down in the background.
Jack Payne has had his right temple collide with the hip of Ben Long.
That will be looked at, even though it looked semi-accidental.
If it is,
Long was playing the footy very much so.
If it is, it's more subjective than objective. We know he's got history, Long, but
never know. As he comes in, Jack Steele. Let's go from 45. The Saints extend their lead again. 10-10-7. He plays 7-10-52. 3 goals the margin, 8.5 gone final term. Jack Steele is having some kind of season for St Kilda.
Just a way to be able to square it inside. They've done that about 3 or 4 times tonight. Zach Jones's perfect example was in the third quarter, straight in. Just be able to, the ability to turn your head, go offline, and then hit it inside when you're on the boundary line. So that ability just to spread that defence of Brisbane.
It's composure, isn't it? Because they're causing the turnover about 70 or so out from their 50. 70 metres out from goals, the Saints, and then that composure to say, well, we know that the Lions have hedged their bets. They're coming up for the offensive chain, and Lions defenders are just no good at manning up when they think they're winning the footy. They haven't been able to do it tonight, and the Saints make them pay each time.
3 goals the lead to St Kilda, 9 played final term. Centre bounce Jared Lyons for Brisbane, kicks it wide to the Nerang River wing, met by Cameron. Had a quiet night, his kick smothered by Webster. It's on the half-back flank for Steele of St Kilda, hand pass ineffective. Tapped by Cameron, trying to link with Coleman. Hill his company to force a neutral. Bailey comes in. He's tackled, can't get rid of it. And the ump will ball it up. Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, lucky Dr. Quentin's in the house. I think you're a bit more accurate with your assessment. They're doing a lot of work on Starcevic's neck at the moment, Kieran. There's a bit of a war zone down here with both he and Hipwood looking disconsolate.
So the ball's at half-back for St Kilda. Paddy Ryder accepts it. There's been a free kick behind play. It looks like Starcevic has dealt with one of the St Kilda players.
Feeling at his jaw.
He's down.
It's Dunstan.
Yeah,
is it?
He's coming back up, but the ball is just forward of left half-back. Paddy Ryder gives it to the run now, Jack Steele. He pops back in. The right foot, looking for Marshall. Cutting across the pack was Harris Andrews. It was beautifully rove there by McKenzie. Sorry, it was Butler, who chips it inside 50. Max King takes a mark, 40 out. He plays on. He's got somebody in here in McKenzie, and Ben Long coming out. In front of Payne, takes the mark, 30 metres out, slight angle to the right.
There it is again. Just square the kick up. So instead of going in line with the goals of where they think that, but in line where the defenders are, in line with the goals with the kicker, just the ability to change the angle and kick it offline. There's so much space there.
Ben Long comes in from 35 and pushes it to the right. No, it sneaks in for anothery. The Saints, they're up by 4 goals here at Carrara. 11 minutes gone, final term on Grandstand AFL. And Lauren Arnell and Jeff White, the Saints are extending this lead. They're looking good.
Well, it looks like it might be a bit too much at this point, Whitey. I know Q's been asking the question all night. Is it enough?
Do you trust him?
Do you trust him?
4 goals the lead.
4 goals the lead. The Lions have guys dropping everywhere. I'm surprised that Jack Payne's he was still out there on that play. Guys, I did a bit of maths at 3/4 time on ground. So 90% or more, you're either a tall or you're too much time on ground. And the Lions had 7 players 90% or more at 3/4 time, with the Saints only 4. And since then, Starcevic has been sitting with that concussion assessment, and Jack Payne's still out there despite the head knock a couple of minutes ago.
Here's some good numbers. Thanks, Lauren. Eagle eye as ever. Centre bounce, 4 goals the lead to the Saints. Right of the tap down, defensive side of the pack. Steele shares it with Dunstan. Clearance for the Saints. Steele's kick to attacking 50. King is outmarked by Andrews of Brisbane. Plays on quickly with a hand pass to Birchall. D50 left half back. Hand passes to Payne, who's overcome that head knock. Hand passes to Lyons, back to Birchall. Who wants the responsibility? Birchall does. Kicks it to the wing, just shy thereof for Madden. He'll play him with a hand pass to Lyons. He wants to hand it to Birchall. Here's the kick on the head of Matheson. Juggles it. Claims the mark over McKenzie. Vital entry coming up for Brisbane. Matheson wide. Doesn't do Archie a favour at all. That was advantage side for Highmore, who's having a great game, and he takes the mark for the Saints.
He chips it. Still inside defensive 50 to Brad Crouch, and then Callum Wilkie. Dangerous kick. He goes across the ground. Oh, beautifully taken there. The St Kilda player who just entered the fray was Long, who just kicked it towards outer wing. Ryan Burns collides with Daniel Rich. The ball goes over the boundary line, but that was a great effort from Ben Long, wasn't it?
Long's been outstanding on the half forward. It's provided so much energy for them.
Just to go back to the time on ground numbers, boys, what the point I was trying to make is you get, if you've been too much time on ground, you run out of legs late in the game, and the Saints being up by 4 goals now with fresher legs, they should be able to run over the top of the Lions.
Well, the Lions haven't scored a goal since the 8-minute mark of the third quarter, and here we are in the final term, 13 minutes gone, and they're really struggling as the Saints have the ball on the outer side, kick towards half forward. Long! Climbed all over Marcus Adams and takes a beauty at left half forward. He kicks it towards the left forward pocket. Marshall at front. It was King punched away from him. Butler roved it beautifully. Handball off to Billings. Went one way. Handball McKenzie. McKenzie curls one in. The Saints are getting home here at Carrara. They're running away with it. A great goal. Gets their 12th. 12-10-82. Play 7-10-52. It's the Saints by 30 points.
I can see why the Saints fans get frustrated. This is exciting footy.
It's great footy.
This footy is outstanding.
Ben Long had more hang time than Space Jam.
Oh, he rode him like a backpack.
Wow.
That's the one thing I love about this game. One of many things, but
at first look, that's somewhat in the vicinity of Shai Bolton.
Oh, he was.
We need a replay.
It was very good.
It was really good.
I mean, and you had to look at the crowd that was there. It is there. Just.
Oh, yeah. Bolton's probably got him for height, but the fact that Long stayed up there for a long time made it very spectacular.
I've looked at the crowd in the background.
Yeah.
It was a Lions crowd in the background. They still went up.
Yeah.
They are home. Dare we say it? Surely. 5 goals the lead to the Saints. 15 minutes into this final term. Centre clearance here for the Lions, though. McCluggage through Neal of hands. Gives it to Robertson. Back to Neal. Under pressure went to Deck. Somehow kept the footy. Gives it back to Mitch Robbo. Slaps it on his boot from half-back. A desperate kick which tumbles. And Highmore, what a game he's had. Marks it for the Saints at half-back. Hands it to Hill. Runs through the bullseye. Kicks it to the outer wing. Marked by the presenting Membry. 2 kicks from goal just forward of the wing. And he'll take his time. Membry called to play on now. And will deliver a right foot drop punt in the King direction. Andrews was one of 3 lines to fly. Incredibly ill-disciplined. Steele, Rhodes, snaps, sinks him. Can't do that no matter how good you're going. 3 men against 1 for the Lions against the sole Saints forward. And Jack Steele mopped it up. 6 goals clear the Saints. They are home on the coast.
Sensational. And just the drop of the ball. I know they had 2 Lions players go for there, but the numbers to be there. Work rate. He's a midfielder. Being there, getting there, drop of the ball, really balanced and a great finish. So I've been watching Brett Ratton. He's a couple of the coach's box and how animated he got. I just had a bit of a laugh there. He just got so excited that he's lost his footing and he fell off his chair. So he's wearing it he's like a fan as well. You know, it's good to see.
He's always been like that when he was coaching Carlton as well. He was accused too much of barracking, but and it adds to the passion, doesn't it?
The thing that's of concern, Lauren, we never see the Lions make that kind of a commitment error in their back line. But Harris went for the big grab and it's cost him a goal.
Back into the middle. Lockie Neal gets the clearance, but close attention from Zach Jones. He gets it inside 50. Beautifully read there by Sinclair for the Saints. He goes a little laterally. They want to play on and go straight up the middle, though. It was overcooked for Marshall. Fortune favours Zach Jones, though, at the back of the pack. He'd give the handball back to Marshall. Marshall went to the outer side of the ground to Jack Billings. Billings has got it 20 metres forward. Membry had a great night tonight. That's mark number 12 for him. He comes back in laterally to Brad Hill. Plays on, dances around Lockie Neal and sizzles the ball inside 50. Finds Rowan Marshall, 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left.
That's great work rate from Rowan Marshall. He was the one that they tried to kick it, went over his head at centre-half back, and there he is working into the forward line.
Last 6 goals in the game for the Saints.
Lions have stopped as if shot. They are plus 71 in disposal, St Kilda, running away with it in the old vernacular. Rowan Marshall, he's been part of the tag team effort against Oscar McInerney with Paddy Ryder. 13 disposals for the night. Let's go from 50. It's a sky ball. It's going to get to the line. Harris Andrews from the front of the pack fists it through for a behind to kill the contest. 89 plays 52. It is a 37-point ball game here at Carrara. 18 gone in the final term. The Lions fans absolutely stunned.
4 goals, 2 to 2 behinds in this term for the Saints. Birchall's kick in marked by Zorko. Tackled as he played on, gave it to Payne. Hands it back to Birchall from left half back. Kicks to McCluggage, who marks shy of the wing. Here McCluggage coming up for possession 24. 3 Saints around Birchall, but it was a very well-directed kick by McCluggage. Birchall takes the mark and then gets up and gives it to Highmore. Game 10, having a toe-to-toe with game 279 there. And the rookie's given away a 50. Or was it Zach Jones for mouthing off?
I think it might have been Zach Jones.
I will say this. Coming back in for the first game since round 8, there is an extra hardness to the Saints midfield when Zach Jones is around it, Lauren.
There is, yeah. It's Zach Jones' brand of footy from the Saints tonight.
10 clearances, Zach Jones.
It's been influential as a part of this strong performance. Now, Birchall has been marched to attacking 50. Hasn't kicked a goal this year. We know he's a lovely kick. From 50, he changes that stat now. Great finish from the veteran left foot. First goal of the final term for Brisbane. But it will be in vain at the 19.5-minute mark of the final term. St Kilda's lead is 31 points at 13-11-89 to 7. Make it 8 now, 10-58.
Yeah, just I like what Zorko was trying to do, but trying to play on, trying to create something, trying to get some run from behind. It's just been nothing there from the Lions tonight. It's just been stop, start. That was a 50-metre penalty result in that goal, but at least he was trying to do something, but it's not the Lions that we've seen this year.
One of those results that really gives us a huge boost to next week's fixtures, both of these two teams. St Kilda take on Port, and
that's a big game.
Brisbane go to Melbourne to take on the Tigers. Wow.
That's mouth-watering.
And had Brisbane won as expected tonight, it doesn't have the same type of feel, but this result really injects life into those two fixtures.
Neil with another clearance, kicks it towards the top of the 50. Dan McStay takes a mark right on the paint. He uses his left foot to effect. It's a long kick, gets to the line. Danaher doesn't quite shepherd it through. Dougal Howard gets a hand to it. One behind results, 89 plays 59.
Now with 5 minutes to go, can the Saints finish off? We saw last week just the way they weren't able to finish off Collingwood when they had big leads. So can they finish off Brisbane tonight?
A pertinent point indeed, Jeff White. As Howard kicks into Webster in the pocket, he'll kick it back to Howard. Called to play on not 15. He's got space to run through the goal mouth and slot it to Hill. Takes the mark, 40-metre pass of precision, and Hill's got it at right half back for the Saints. Rolls on, runs along the boundary, exits defensive 50 and kicks to the wing. 2-on-2 contest. Andrews a touch for Brisbane, couldn't mark. Marshall on hands and knees ferreting after it along with Robinson. That pair grapple. And then McInerney and King get into each other at the side of that. And after all of that, Robbo was pinged for holding the ball.
There's been a bit happening off the ball between King and McInerney. I've been watching. What the Saints have done really well tonight is actually block for their tools and create space for the leading player. McInerney's copped the raw end of a lot of that.
Well, he's the one that's been trying to drop behind the play. So that's where Marshall and Ryder become very important throughout the midfield, linking up the play and trying to suck him out.
Marshall chipped it to Jones. Jones infield to Hill. Now the kick from halfway towards half forward. Oh, spilled through Butler's fingers. Should have marked that. He had no man on him. Picked up by Neal. Hands it to Robinson of Brisbane. Blazes towards half forward, but Wilkie reads the drop and marks defensively for the Saints, who lead it by 30 points. 22 minutes final term.
Oh, nice little move from Leo Connolly. Gave it to Seb Ross and then the crouch. Connolly kept going up the corridor. Didn't quite get the handball receive. It fell back to Sinclair, who gave it forward to Connolly, back to Sinclair. He brings it out to the commentary wing, Jack Steele, once again racking them up and having an elite game for the St Kilda Football Club this week.
Saints fans are coming out. Send us your messages, 0437 774 774. Oh, my Saints, says Joseph of Albury. Keep them coming.
And they will go marching in today. There's no worries about that. Down the outer side, Tim Membry had an outstanding game. Mark number 13. Wheels around, kicks it inside 50. Max King spoiled there by Harris Andrews. Tackled by one arm. Let loose the ball. That is incorrect disposal every day of the week. Umpire says no.
Not today.
He can lay it. I don't understand that. How do you handball it with one arm behind your back? It's a ball up.
Ball up. McInerney got the hand for Brisbane. Oh, Robinson and Lyons run into each other. Rich picks it up, gives it to Lyons. A hoping clearance. It's going to drop about 60 from goal. Webster rose for St Kilda. Hand passes to Steele. Hands it to Burns. He's already got one. Seal it, young man. Yes! If it wasn't sealed beforehand. Well, that's a misused term. Icing should have been the call because they had it sealed before that. And it is icing. It's a 6-goal lead for the Saints on the coast at 14-11, 95 to 8-11, 59. And Ryan Burns in his 11th game has now got 2 goals tonight.
Well, it's been just comprehensive now from the Saints, particularly in this second half. But coming into tonight's game, Saints are sitting 12th on the ladder. They're level on points with Essendon and Richmond. So they're really not that far off and only one game away from the Eagles in 8th spot.
Well, their percentage is going to be an issue. It's around 87, Lauren. On the live ladder at the moment, we've got Dockers, who won today, 32. West Coast, who play tomorrow, 32. Saints, 32. Giants, who play tomorrow, 30.
You could still do a bit of damage. There's how many minutes left, Q?
About 4.5, I think.
Here we go.
Damage to be done.
Well, more damage to be done. They're coming out of the middle yet again, St Kilda. It's a 2-on-1, but Butler did beautifully. He controlled it until he laid a high tackle. Now it's a free kick, Brisbane. Jared Lyons plays on. Handball to Bailey, who's been quieter tonight. Kicks it to half forward. McCarthy came out. Highmore with courage, went back with the flight. They met. They are both on the ground at the 50. Play on. St Kilda try to get the ball out. Dev Robertson cuts it off, chips it back inboard and finds Dane Zorko, 40 out directly in front.
Both men are up from that collision, Pricey. Good news.
Good bit of guts there from both Lincoln McCarthy and Tom Highmore. As Zorko comes in, wastes no time, kicks from 45, pulls it left, one behind. 95 plays 60. It's a 35-point margin in favour of the Saints late in the final quarter. Just seeing the replay there. Geez, that was some courage from Highmore as McCarthy was leaping for the ball.
Well, on tonight's performance, they found one there. Courageous.
Been really good.
I did see him play a couple of years ago in the NEAFL for the Canberra Demons. He won. He was part of the NEAFL Team of the Year in 2019 as a 19-year-old. So he had some potential. Had to go to South Australia to get drafted, though.
Yeah, well, that's part of the problem, isn't it, for many young players north of the Murray still.
Don't get me started on the VFL NEAFL thing, Q.
OK, I won't. Kick to the wing. McCarthy third in with a fly. Couldn't take the mark. But Lyons does the roving for Brisbane and runs away on the wing. Has a bounce, steadies himself, kicks to attacking 50. Howard smashes it away from Cameron out of play. And you'd expect the role of Charlie Cameron is going to become even more important now with the news that Eric Hickwood is likely to be unseen on the football field for the rest of the season. We wait for confirmation, but even his coach Chris Fagan suggested during the match on television that he's done an ACL, which is terrible news. A third major injury for Brisbane at this venue in 3 games here this year. Neil a chance out the back of the pack, accosted by Crouch, just got the handball away in time, but McCluggage in company can't break free of the tackle. These Saints are running through the line tonight. We'll see another ball up, footy out.
Oh, sorry, Q. They have hunted the Lions tonight. The Saints, they just hunted.
Plus 12 in the tackles, plus just the inferred pressure, Jeff. They're chasing them around the park as Danaher tries to bust through the tackle of Billings. Couldn't do so. Got the handball away. It's a dangerous spot. Almost cut off by Hill, but towed through for a behind by Lockie Neal. 61 plays 95. It's the Saints by 34 points. 27.5 gone final term. Grandstand AFL on ABC Sport as the Saints bring it back in. Charlie Cameron cuts it off, and typical of his night, it comes off his knee and bounces to the left of the goalpost. One behind. It's the story of Charlie's night. 62 plays 95, 33 points the Saints now, Q.
Hill runs beyond the goal mouth, drives a long ball to left, half back to the advantage of Steele, who marks despite the close attention of Dane Zorko. He's had a couple of good moments, but ultimately won't get to sing the song of his 200th game. Steele's kick to Billings, marks it on the wing, out the Narang River side, chips it over the man on the mark and over the head of Membry, who was his leading target. Adams takes the grab for Brisbane. He'll set them back towards half forward. Robertson shows courage to take a mark. Hand pass to Danaher. Open goal square in front of him. Kicks it deep. McStayer's couple to beat. And Crouch is happy to double fist it through for a rushed behind. 32 points the lead for St Kilda at 14-11-95 to 8-15-63. And we're ticking down to what will be a joyous final siren for Saints fans at Carrara.
Once they bring it in, it's Jack Steele. Long kick towards half back. It's fisted back forward for the Lions. Cut off by Dougal Howard, given to Brad Hill. Now the handball through Jimmy Webster. Back to Hill through the corridor. Good footy Saints. They're running now with Billings. Left footer. Ryan Burns comes out. Either he or Membry. Membry took it. Stopped to a walk. and then went on a lateral kick looking for Seb Ross. Missed the target. Zorko. Too cute with the tap. He's turned it over. It's Dunstan off the left foot. He kicks it towards the pocket and it dribbles over the boundary line for a throw-in the forward pocket for the Saints. They're doing it on the bit. 32 points the margin.
Well, I hope you've got your stomach about your Saints fans because you're still on the roller coaster ride. Tonight's been a good one for you. You're staying in the fight. It's been a top performance from St Kilda tonight to upset Brisbane in southeast Queensland. Sing the song, Saints fans. You're well and truly in this in 2021. 3 wins in a row for Ratton's Mob. A bad night for Brisbane with a key injury and an important loss. But the story is St Kilda by 32. When the Saints go marching in. The Lions led by 2 points at quarter time. St Kilda, though, kicked 5 goals in a row in the second term, led by 10 points at half-time, by 13 at three-quarter time. It was game on, but they kicked 5 goals to 1 in the final term to win by 32 points. When the Saints go marching in, oh, when the Saints go marching in, oh, how I want to be with St Kilda, when the Saints go marching in. Do you believe? Well, tonight they kept going. Tonight they kept going. One of the more comprehensive 4-quarter performances we have seen from St Kilda of recent times. 14-11-95 beats 8-15-63. 3 goals to Max King, 2 goals to Steele, 2 goals to Membry, 2 goals to Burns. Singles to Crouch, Billings, Long, McKenzie and Connolly. For Brisbane, Zorko in his 200th game kicked 3 goals, the only multiple goal kicker. The rest were singles to Danaher, Archie, Birchall, McStay and Bailey. Plenty to sift through, including your thoughts. No one's going to sleep tonight. We're all sitting up for the tennis, of course, which is coming your way on ABC Radio in half an hour. Send us your messages on 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Mark from Canberra says Saints have turned into giant killers, 3 of last year's prelim contenders in a row. Well, you're right. Richmond won the comp. Collingwood was in the second week of the finals and Brisbane the third week of the finals last year. Mind you, questions about how the other two are going, but certainly Brisbane have replicated that form in 2021. Not trying to undersell what they've done, but yeah, this is the most creditable of the 3 in a row, I think. But it doesn't matter what I think. What do Lauren Arnell and Jeff White think about it?
Well, I would say that's their best performance of the year. As a 4-quarter effort, their ability to run off the half-back line, just that back 6 just stood up so well tonight, and they were just ability to run and create and overlap and play the exciting footy that we know that they're capable of playing. We saw them a few times last year, Q, and up here in the hub, and they just were electrifying. They cut up the defence. They were good below their knees, and that was them tonight. The 2020 St Kilda Football Club, that was them tonight. And to do it against such quality opposition, what did they kick? 14 goals against Brisbane Lions. A great backline.
25 scoring shots.
A great backline. And they just tore them apart. They just spread. They work really, really well. How many times did we see the drop of the ball? King was going for it. Membry was going for it. And as soon as it hit the ground, I thought Long played really well as well. So it was great.
I love this one from Sean in Sale, Lauren. The discussion is no longer about who the Saints face on the run home, but instead it's about who has to face the Saints.
Yeah, look, it's a well-implemented game plan tonight against the Lions. They tore them apart. I love that they forced the Lions to defend a width of the ground, and when you look at the strength of the Lions defenders, they want the ball coming in skinny. Harris Andrews has time to set himself up. Leg speed is not a strength of Rich Birchall or Harris Andrews, and so you're kind of relying on teams coming down the line and playing skinny, which the Saints did none of tonight. They shifted the angles, they used the width of the ground, and as Jeff pointed out really well throughout the call, just shaping up and looking for that wider kick as opposed to just kicking in front of themselves. I hope that makes sense over the airwaves.
They didn't blaze away.
They controlled the footy.
Yeah.
They took a lot of marks. Tim Membry took 14 marks tonight and kicked 2 goals. We've already done our votes, and he's going to be really unlucky. But guys like that, the work rate it takes to take 14 marks in a game of footy. The Lions are not a poor team. They played poorly tonight, but the Saints have outworked them and outsmarted them in a really high-quality game of footy from the Saints.
And the Saints controlled the game.
Yeah.
They didn't allow... We've seen it so many times where the half-back line, Brisbane just zigzag, overlap, they cut you up through the midfield, goal. They just have so much, versatility. They just weren't able to do anything tonight.
And look, we don't get to see them as regularly in the flesh now, but can we draw a direct line between the return of Zach Jones to the football team and an increase in St Kilda's intensity around the stoppage?
He was outstanding, and it's just... I look at it a little bit like, Jack Viney came in for his first game on Thursday night, and he just allowed, it was the bull. He got in there really hard, really tight. He allowed, Petrarca and Oliver on the outside, even though they're hard contested footy players, just gave them the extra strength. That's what Zach Jones did tonight, with allowed support for Jack Steele and Dunstan as well. Just really marriage that midfield and that drive and that hunger inside that they've missed.
29 clearances for St Kilda, 10 for Zach Jones.
Wow.
So he's contributing. Let's put it that way to his side.
Well, the Saints have left Carrara, as have the Brisbane Lions. They want to get out of this joint. Mikey from Bendigo on the SMS. Long-time supporter and Lions fan. Hi, Q. Credit to the Saints. But we should never play a home game at that stupid ground again. Should have played it in Townsville. From Mikey and Bendigo. It has become the year of the Carrara curse for the Brisbane Lions. Cam Rayner does a knee in the pre-season. Darcy Gardner does his shoulder in Q clash. And now Eric Hipwood does his knee here tonight. They are the most significant injuries that Brisbane has had, I'd say, for 3 years. And they've all occurred at this ground in 2021.
It's just a shame, isn't it? And it's leaves a big hole in their forward line. He's very important to them.
Let's get down and hear the raucous sounds of the Saints marching in on the Gold Coast. That's what it means to them. They're 8-8 and right in the fight for the top 8. Port Adelaide next week at Docklands for St Kilda. And then, pending on the state of things, scheduled to go to the West to play West Coast in round 19 before playing Carlton and Docklands. That's their next 3. St Kilda and the Lions. They've got the Tigers at the MCG next week. Hawthorn at the MCG the week following, and then Gold Coast at the Gabba. So, with no disrespect to Hawthorn and Gold Coast, they're in the bottom 6 of the competition, and Richmond of 2021, we still wait to see if they can live up to what Richmond of 3 of the last 4 years have been, but they'll be hurting the Tigers. And back at the MCG, an interesting one.
And it's going to be, you'd assume, at least 2 forced changes, Q, because Starcevic seemed to have a concussion tonight. Jack Payne played out the game, so you'd assume he's all right. And then obviously Eric Hipwood. So those forced changes will be the interesting one for the Lions and how they restructure that forward line. Because I felt at times you would have liked to see Joe Danaher play up a little bit higher to provide that marking option that they couldn't get going once Hipwood went down. But Danaher stayed deep, which meant the shorter guys, I know Link McCarthy can take a contested mark, but the shorter guys and Cal Archie hopping into that half-forward role just weren't able to take marks around the ground and link up.
Sorry, just trying to interpret an SMS who asking, was Kester injury at Carrara too?
Maybe he's thinking Ryan Lester.
Lester. Yes.
Was that?
It was the same night as Gardner, wasn't it?
Which was
Lester?
that? The Gaffer?
Or no?
Yeah, that was...
His more recent hammy was different, but I think Lester did cop
that's right.
something
I will
when Gardner
check.
got injured as well.
Yeah. That's right. Thank you. It's late.
Kester?
I saw Kester and I thought, hold on. Are they talking
The old
about...
autocorrect.
Yeah, are they talking about Rayner? No, Rayner was definitely here. Now I'm going through my scrapbook.
I think Lester's more recent hammy wasn't
here, but I think his first one was back in that, what week was it? Round 7, going through the book. Good. We've got an interview. It gives me time to look through my notes. Down to you, Zane.
Yeah, I'm down here with the big man, Paddy Ryder. It's been an emotional week for you, having to go back to the WA for your late uncle who passed away. Did that inspire you tonight? Not only the Saints winning, but your performance out there tonight?
Yeah, that's footy is my outlet. I said it last week, but I've got all my family back home mourning at the moment, and when they get to turn on the TV and watch me play, watch the mighty Saints come away with the win. I got heaps of text messages earlier from family saying that they're going to sit back and enjoy the game, and I said to them, we'll do everything to get the win for you. So
yeah, you definitely turned it on tonight. There's no doubt about that. The intensity of having Zach Jones back as well, do you think that helped lifted the group, your performance tonight?
Yeah, he's a crucial part of our team, and around the stoppages he adds another dimension in there for us with Steely, all the other boys in there, so Crouchy, and you see the way he just bursts through the pack and he takes them on. Bloke's hanging off him, but he's still driving his legs, so getting the ball forward to us, and that we know that when we win the ball from stoppages and get it forward, we give Maxi and Membry, all those lads, good opportunity to kick goals for us.
Okay, well, you won 3 in a row now. Do you feel like things are starting to happen for the Saints?
Yeah, it started a long time ago with our off-field stuff and our standards and stuff that we wanted to do around the club, and we picked that up, and it's translating onto the footy field now. So we've become really professional, and we're starting to get a lot of our boys back. Rowan's back in the team now. Myself and Rowan, huge for the team in terms of structure, allowing Maxi to take those marks and Membry and stuff. So get Jonesy back in, and Steely is still doing his thing. And our good young boys, Guernsey, Tommy Highmore.
How was outstanding tonight?
I just love watching him play. If he keeps doing that, he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats at St Kilda. It's awesome to see the young boys doing that.
All right, well, I'll pass it up to the panel. We've got Michael Price, Quentin Hull, Lauren Arnell and Jeff White to speak to you, Paddy.
Paddy, Jeff White here, mate. As a fellow ruckman, I was just really impressed with the way both you and Rowan worked tonight with Oscar. I noticed that Oscar was sort of pushing forward at times, but he was also dropping back. Was it a ploy for you guys to try and get linked up so you could try and suck him out of the back line?
Yeah, being one of the older blokes now, the rucks are always going to try and push forward and get me running. So I just stick to my strengths around stoppages, leaping, giving the boys first use, and the lads around the ground are always looking after me. So working with Rowe, I thought we worked him over tonight, and Rowe had a shot on goal. He got a few marks around the ground, so it was good.
Lauren?
Paddy, you mentioned Tom Highmore. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
He's just a really professional young man, and the biggest thing that I've noticed about him is his mindset and the way that he wants to compete. When the ball gets kicked his way, you can just see the look in his eye. He just wants to win that ball, or if someone's going to get there before him, he's going to hurt him. So I'm really impressed with him as a first-year player.
He's a good number too.
34. Paddy, it's Quentin Hull here. I was mentioning during the broadcast, do you believe, because you've had these hot and cold periods throughout the year, I'd love to know what the coach spoke to you about at three-quarter time, and what are the key triggers to get you guys to believe there's not going to be a fade-out like Cairns, or you're not going to slow down like you did against the Magpies. Who takes control of that, and how do you get the consistency back?
Yeah, I think it's we addressed that during the week. That's just on us players. When it's still 15, 16 minutes to go in the quarter. We don't need to be holding the ball up and playing boring footy and kicking it down the line and stuff. So we've still got to take the game on. That's how we get ourselves in the position a few goals up in the first place. So, we addressed that after the Crows game, the Magpies game as well. So it's on the players, but I think we're really I can see the look in the boys' eyes at the moment and the way that they're carrying themselves. They're believing that, we can push in the finals now.
Now, is there anything to do with footy structure when you have those bad patches, or is it just above the shoulders?
I think it's a lot to do with above the shoulders. It's the decisions that you make in those periods, and you go away. That's when you go away from the structure, but it's a decision to do other stuff first. So it's all above the shoulders in those situations.
Paddy, it does feel like things have turned around, and now you're mentioning finals. You've used the word professional a couple of times in things shifting. When did the conversation happen amongst the playing group? It sounds like something's been addressed off field, and now there's a shift in behaviour that's causing these better results on field.
Yeah, we addressed it a fair few weeks ago now, so we're starting to get the boys back in, and our leaders around the club really took charge of what was going on, and that's gone throughout the playing group. So the standards that we want to hold each other to have all lifted, and all the boys are buying into it. There's no excuses.
Now, Paddy, just wanted to finish off. As a proud First Nations man, where are you going to be tonight with Ashley Barty trying to replicate the amazing feats of Yvonne Goolagong in NAIDOC week? What an amazing week it's been for your people.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'll be sitting back tonight, and all the boys will have the tennis on, and most of the guys can't sleep after night games anyway, so still revved up a bit, but good luck to her, and hopefully she does it.
Great performance tonight, Paddy. We appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, mate.
Paddy Ryder down with Zane Bojack after the Saints' 32-point victory over Brisbane, 14-11-95 to 8-15-63. I mean, we saw again that Fife and Dave Mundy, amazing for Fremantle today. What is it about these sort of mid to ageing 30-somethings that are just so valuable in modern football when they get it right?
Well, he said it there in the interview that, he's got other guys working around him and helping him and supporting him. And I think that you can't buy experience. You cannot buy experience. And he's jumping as good as I've seen in the centre bounce. His mobility around the ground, 2 great marks at the end. Look, he's not going to rack up 20 possessions, 15 possessions a game, but what he does is so vital. It's so important, and the chemistry that he's got with those mids and it's obviously close to my heart because that's where I spent most of my time. But that's one of the things Paddy Ryder said, is that when he gets in that centre, that is where that's what he loves.
Yeah.
And that centres him, and it makes him really hungry.
And I don't want to embarrass you, Lauren, because I know you're very humble, but you've got first-hand experience of that recently. Wheeling your body through the last part of your footy career because you were a senior player in a team of a lot of young players, and it wasn't just about how many kicks and hand passes, but how do the mature players in the group do that?
I think with experience you figure out where you can add value, and I think once you know, and Ryder's referencing his value there, and Jeff's again highlighting that, is you don't try and do everything. Once you understand what your role is in the team, and then you can hone everything you need to hone in your own time and at training to make sure that you absolutely nail it during the game. And I love that Paddy's talking about that. For me, I knew if I was going to get a spot in that Lions team this year, it was going to be my ground balls had to be elite. I couldn't fumble a ground ball, so I had to play a high half forward role. And then obviously the smarts and the structure around that and the experience that you get from time in the game, that comes. But I love that Paddy Ryder's just referenced what he knows his role is in the team, and he knows he's going to be able to do that well. I think that's what experience brings you, is confidence and understanding of what value you add to the team, and real confidence that you can bring that on game day.
What of that midfield combination, though? Jack Steele I find him one of the most impressive midfielders in the comp. He's just bringing elite pressure, gathering the ball. And Dunstan tonight, again, another close to 30 possessions. And then you throw in Seb Ross and Brad Crouch as well, and Zach Jones. bang, their midfield is starting to look formidable.
By the way, just back to that text which you helped me decipher about the Kester/Lester injury. Indeed it was here. So Ryan Lester's hamstring was the same night as Darcy Gardner's shoulder. Q clash round 8, I think it was. And then, of course, Rainer in the pre-season and Hipwood tonight. Lions fans will be absolutely... Their blood will be boiling on the way back up the M1 tonight. They've had a gutful of this joint.
It's not ideal, and it's devastating for Eric Hipwood.
It's just a matter of circumstance, but...
It is, and I think, obviously everyone has their own challenges through COVID, and this is one for the Lions. You just wish Eric Hipwood all the best in his recovery. And then I think, really there's not too many home games left for the Lions in this season. I think there's 3 games left at the Gabba, if my numbers are correct, maybe 4.
They get the Collingwood one back but lose the one to Freo in that switcheroo which we had at the start of the year. Their next one is a couple of weeks away against Gold Coast, but certainly their next 2 are away at the MCG. Richmond next Friday night, and then I think it's Friday night, and Hawthorn the week after that. I'll give you some quick numbers before we get your votes. Steele 32, Dunstan 29, Jones 26, Hill 25, Billings and Ross 24, Crouch 23. Lots of big numbers for the St Kilda prime movers. The returning Brownlow medalist for Brisbane still topped the charts for the Lions with 31. Rich off the back line as ever, prolific with his 27. McCluggage 26, Lions 21, Birchall 18. But Zorko 17, Robinson 13, Bailey 12. Where is... I said McCluggage, 26. Yeah. Charlie Cameron 5. Joe Danaher 10. Overall, 406 disposals to 311. So the Saints just own the ball, 95 more. Ooh. Contested-wise, plus 11 for the Saints. Marks, plus 45 for St Kilda at 129 to 84. Clearances, Brisbane won that plus 2. Tackles, Saints won that plus 6. Inside 50s, Saints. Only 7 more at 54 to 43.
But Membry and King had 24 marks between them.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Against the Brisbane Lions, Harris Andrews, Marcus Adams. It's amazing.
But that also comes with delivery as well.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
And so pressure on the ball.
The pressure on the ball, So they were able to spread and be able to link up and create that uncontested possession going inside forward 50. And they work for each other too. How many times have we commented when they have a half forward go back in the way of the defender, allowing King to come at the ball and Membry to come at the ball?
Before your votes, what happens to the Brisbane forward structure if indeed Eric Hipwood can't play for the rest of the season?
I'd suggest Connor McFadden wouldn't be far away from selection. He's had a pretty good run, although Neefle's been quite interrupted.
Yep.
Very capable of hitting the scoreboard, and had a relatively good season, a good lead in the pre-season. Did come back from injury as well, Pricey, but I think if there's someone that's going to come in who has goal nous, you'd expect McFadden to come into the side.
I think Connor McFadden's probably got more goal nous than Big Ballenden.
Yeah.
Ballenden is a big body, can thump a ball, but I've seen him tried up forward and whatnot. I still think he's got some development to do.
Room for growth.
Yes, absolutely. Whereas McFadden has got that little bit of X factor where he can actually put it through the biggies.
Here's one for the mix. Nakia Cockatoo's getting close.
Ooh.
Now, I wonder whether that tantalises a structural change.
The challenge
Try
is
and become zippier and trust McStay and Danaher. And Big O going forward.
Yeah, what I would like to see, they played.
Maybe Zorko can go a bit forward.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Cockatoo there.
They played Zorko a lot in the midfield tonight, and he's kicked 3. I'd like to see him go back to what a whole Australian perspective. Half forward, play high, turn his defender inside out, and then attack the ball that way. Allow then, you have a Charlie Cameron on the other forward flank, and then you have Zorko, and then you have McStay at centre half forward or Danaher. Good structure. You go to 2 talls and more zippy in the forward line, and then Bailey's been outstanding, obviously.
The key question, do you think it drastically affects Brisbane's premiership chances if Hipwood can't play?
At the moment, yes. Yeah, I do. I think Hipwood's crucial to the Lions' structure and the way they like to move the footy. One that we haven't spoken about is Jared Berry did a calf again. I think if Berry's in the side, Zorko's got more ability to spend time up forward because Berry can be that stronger body through the midfield.
Your votes, if I could, please.
Yeah, joint effort again. We went one vote. Tom Highmore, 16 and 7 marks. We thought he was like the timing of those intercept marks throughout the game as well. Lions were starting to build and actually have some inside 50s, and Highmore continually chopped those off. Max King, exceptional game. 10 marks, 3 goals. Certainly got the better of Harris Andrews tonight. And 3 votes, Jack Steele, 32, 2 goals, 1, comprehensive 3-vote performance. So Steele 3, King 2, Highmore 1.
Thank you, Lauren. Fantastic that we get to drive up the M1. Well, you only have to go across the road.
Across the river, the bridge.
Yeah.
Did you bring the golf buggy, Whitey?
No, I thought about it. But there's crowds, so I couldn't.
Oh, fair enough.
Couldn't zig
so
and zag.
You'll be able to sort of put the radio on with the telly, mixing the sound and the pictures for the start of the Wimbledon final.
He's got the Scottish Open as well, so I'll be doing the mix.
Bit of golf, as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll be right.
We've got the drive up the M1, listening to the sounds of SW19, just to give you a little bit of a taste for what's coming on Grandstand and ABC Sport tonight. Usually we sign off from all the sports coverage at 10:30, but not tonight because there's a pretty special moment in the offing for Ash Barty in London.
This is as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and I think Angie definitely brought the best out of me today, and it was a hell of a match right from the first ball, and I knew it was going to have to be that good just to compete with her. So I'm incredibly proud of myself and my team, and now we get a chance on Saturday to try and live out a childhood dream.
50 years since Yvonne Goolagong won in 1971 for the first time, and she's wearing a dress designed in her honour. Of course, she did it again as a mother did Yvonne Goolagong Cawley in 1980. But that 50-year symmetry linked into the 10-year symmetry when Ash was a 15-year-old and won junior Wimbledon. Karolina Pliskova is a fine player and a different kind of player. Has made the final of the US Open. Can't wait for tonight.
But she's got all of Australia against her.
Oh, look, as you know, NAIDOC week as well. It's been a huge fortnight so far, and really looking forward to enjoying the broadcast of the tennis throughout the evening. Hope you can stick with us. So that's a wrap on the footy for the day. St Kilda now 8 wins, 8 losses. Port Adelaide next week. The Lions 11-5 with the Tigers next week, and another key injury with Eric Hipwood going down tonight. It was the Saints by 32 points, 14-11-95 over Brisbane's 8-15-63. Earlier today, Geelong beats an errant and lacklustre Carlton by 26 points at the MCG. Geelong 10-10-70 over the Blues, 5-14-44. And the Dockers were far too good for the Hawks at York Park in Launceston. Fremantle winning 16-12-108 to Hawthorns 6-10-46. In the National Rugby League tonight, the Roosters defeated Canterbury Bankstown by 22 points to 16. And that major news in the context of Australian sport tonight, the COVID crisis around Greater Sydney and New South Wales is going to cost Newcastle State of Origin Game 3, with an announcement coming from the NRL tonight that the game will be played on Wednesday, just down the road from here at Robina Stadium. So plenty happening. I hope you've enjoyed your Saturday night with us. Thank you, Lauren, Jeff, to Michael, Peter, and also Zane and Adam back in the studio. Here's how the footy ended up. Get the strawberry and cream and Pims ready for the tennis.
Payne goes out to the outer wing, looking there for Archie. Was cut off beautifully by Wilkie, who end up kicking it inside 50. Crouch. Brad Crouch, 45 metres out. Leans back. Have we got the first goal of the game? We have.
What can you see with Eric Hipwood coming from the field zone?
I reckon it's knee again, Q. Just looked like it buckled underneath the weight there, I think, of Membry that came in there. So this is a real concern.
Zorko just keeps it in the pocket. He hand passes infield to McInerney, gives it to Archie. They'll get a goal anyway. Jack Billings. This assignment 30 out, slight angle to the left. To narrow it to a goal, the diff. Billings on his left boot. Fine finish. The Saints have got a couple. Max King celebrated his 21st birthday during the week. Straight in front. Fine right foot drop punt. It's 2 in a row to the Saints. Ryder. Kick to the pocket. King! Hands too tall over the top of Starcevic. King's been marched to the goal mouth, and this will give St Kilda the lead. He will kick his second. There's the goal. Can't control the mark. Long with the rope. Hand pass to Burns. He's kicked another for St Kilda. Brisbane deep in attack. Ball tossed into the night sky. Ryder got rid of Danaher, but Bailey roves brilliantly and kicks another goal in this fine season for him.
Joe facing the middle of the ground and immediately looking to play on and curl it around with his right foot. He's only 20 metres out. Danaher plays on and kicks the goal.
This is straight in front. 30 metres out for Daniel McStay to return Brisbane to the lead. He's kicked it.
To Hill, they kept running through the corridor. Sinclair, delicate little kick at an angle. He found McKenzie. McKenzie on the left, beautiful kick.
Great play.
Tim Membry takes the mark. Tim Membry from 25. No mistake. Big moment for young Leo Connolly. Has a chance. From 35, kicks his first goal in AFL football. Butler roved it beautifully. Handball off to Billings. Went one way. Handball McKenzie. McKenzie curls one in. The Saints are getting home here.
Membry called to play on now. And will deliver a right foot drop punt in the King direction. Andrews was one of 3 lines to fly. Incredibly ill-disciplined. Steele roves. Snaps. 6 them to Steele. Hands it to Burns. He's already got 1. Seal it, young man. Yes. If it wasn't sealed beforehand. Sing the song, Saints fans. You're well and truly in this in 2021. 3 wins in a row for Ratton's Mob. A bad night for Brisbane with a key injury and an important loss. But the story is St Kilda by 32.
This year's Origin has been dominated by New South Wales.
Intercepted by Latrell Mitchell. Bye-bye, New South Wales, a 95-metre try.
Can Queensland salvage something from the wreckage?
Capewell dummies and Kurt Capewell over.
Or will the Blues make it a rare clean sweep? The 2021 State of Origin Series on Grandstand Rugby League.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio, and on the ABC Listen app.
ABC Sport.
Grandstand Tennis. She's already the first Aussie woman in 41 years to make the final.
This is as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and now we get a chance to try and live out a childhood dream.
The 2021 Wimbledon Women's Final, live on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
41 years after our last and 50 years after her mentor Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley's first, Ash Barty carries the hopes of the nation as she tries to win the Wimbledon Ladies Singles crown, looking to add that title to her 2019 French Open triumph. Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of Ash Barty and Karolina Pliskova in the Wimbledon final. My name is Ben Cameron. We are 36 minutes away from the start of the match, and we've got a massive half hour to take you through to it. The Australian captain, Alicia Molik, formerly the Fed Cup, now the Billie Jean King Cup captain of Australia, Alicia Molik, to join me. We'll also check in with Jacqueline Magnay, a journalist at The Australian who is on the ground at the All England Club. I'll have a chat to her a little bit later on. And we'll also check in at the Barty Watch Party. Tennis Queensland have a watch party with Ash Barty, their girl, going at it. So we'll find out what the atmosphere is like there. Once we've done all of that, we'll join our BBC commentary team of Chris Dennis, Della Floyd, with the expert analysis of former British number one, Annabelle Croft, and former Australian Open semi-finalist Daniela Hunchakova. I must admit, tonight is a little bit of a throwback. You can imagine 41 years ago, people would have been crowded around the radio. They would have been listening to Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley try and win Wimbledon. And this is how it sounded.
Still match point, and it's so dark, and she serves. And that's right down the centre. She doesn't go up. A backhand chip. In comes Lloyd on a forehand cross-court. Cawley a ball, forehand down the line. Lloyd lets her backhand. And Yvonne Cawley has won the title after 9 years. The longest interval between two single titles that a woman has ever achieved at Wimbledon, equaling the record of Bill Tilden. What a magnificent achievement by Yvonne Cawley. And in Borelon, you can throw your hats over the moon down under.
Oh, you got to love that. And in Borelon, you can throw your hats over the moon down under. Hopefully, we're hearing something similar a little bit later on tonight. Before we work our way through it all, the journey to the final for Ash Barty. Of course, she's only dropped one set on her route to the final tonight. That was back in her opening round matchup against Carla Suarez Navarro, in which she won 6-1, 6-7, 6-1. From that point on, it was all smooth sailing for Ash Barty. Straight sets victories in every match, and of course highlighted by that All-Australian quarter-final where she took down Isla Tomljanovic 6-1, 6-3. Ash Barty speaking after her semi-final win against Angelique Kerber 6-3, 7-6. This is what she had to say on court.
This is incredible. I think this is close to as good a tennis match as I'll ever play, and I think Angie definitely brought the best out of me today, and it was a hell of a match right from the first ball, and I knew it was going to have to be that good just to compete with her. So I'm incredibly proud of myself and my team, and now we get a chance on Saturday to try and live out a childhood dream.
So can she live out that childhood dream tonight? That's what we'll find out. Anyone who's seen the moment in which she won against Angelique Kerber would have recognised the moment. She was awash with emotion, hands on the head. She couldn't believe the moment that she was through to the final of Wimbledon, the most famous, I think anyway, of the 4 slams on the tennis tour. This is what she said when she was asked about that moment in her press conference.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was just almost a moment of relief, a moment of pure excitement. It was something that I'd never knew if I would feel, and I think being able to have an opportunity to play in a final here at Wimbledon is incredible. And I think that match was a great level, the best level I've played in quite some time. And I think Angie's an incredible competitor, and she brought out the best of me.
She certainly did. She was down 2-5 in the second set, Ash Barty, but was able to win 11 points consecutively, and then later in that second set, 10 consecutive points as she was able to win that set in the tiebreak 7-6 and win through to the final. Her opponent tonight is Karolina Pliskova. As we've mentioned, she also only dropped one set en route to the final. That was in the semi-final against Arina Sabalenka, in which she had to come from a set-to-love down to win through to the final. Only broken 4 times throughout her 6 previous matches in this campaign. So Ash Barty will have her work cut out to break the powerful serve of Karolina Pliskova. Well, who better to check in with just half an hour away from the start of this Wimbledon women's singles final than a lady who knows, I reckon, Ash Barty's game better than just about anybody else outside of maybe her coach Craig Tyser, and that is the Australian team captain in formerly the Fed Cup, now the Billie Jean King Cup, and that is Alicia Molik, who is with us here on ABC Sport. Alicia, it's great to speak to you. Welcome.
Thanks, first of all, for having me, and second of all, hasn't been a brilliant run from Ash and all the Aussies, quite frankly, and also Isla Tomljanovic, have to give her a mention, making the quarterfinal, and of course Storm Sanders in the women's doubles final. So there's plenty of happening for our Australian women tennis stars, and Ash tonight, it's going to be super exciting.
It's so exciting. What have been your tennis impressions of the run so far from Ash?
Yeah, look, I like that she's been building throughout the past 2 weeks, and I think she admitted herself in the first match didn't quite play the way she wanted. In the second, third rounds, her serve quite wasn't where she wanted it to be. But I like the fact that she's been able to shift into high gears when it's mattered most. And in her last match specifically was just, it was incredible, because she lifted against Kerber, didn't she, in the second set when she was down 5-2. She found what she needed, which was incredible. And I just like the quiet calmness she had about it. There's no panic either. And I think Ash's in a really good spot when we see her that way. She's almost annoyed at herself when she got down 5-2 in the second set. So I think all things are pointing to a positive result tonight. I mean, I'm hoping for it. No, but I think she's playing, the type of tennis that will win a Grand Slam. But look, we'll wait and see. Pliskava's a quality opponent.
Yeah, she was down 2-5, as you mentioned, in that second set. And from there, she was able to win 11 consecutive points. And then later in the set, she was able to win 10 consecutive points as well. She said in the postscript that she thinks it's the best match she's played in a long time. Where do you rank that kind of tennis she was playing in the semi-final amongst her best?
Yeah, look, I think it was absolutely right up there. And I just think it's a testament to Ash. Look, when the pressure's on, she's the type of player that, she brings it to the plate. She doesn't shy away. She doesn't get nervy. And I think that's why she's quietly confident with her own ability. And she showed it again against Kerber when she was down. You mentioned that succession of points that she was able to win. She's just so good at making players feel like they're on the back foot. They don't get the opportunity to play their own games and win the way that they want to win. And she's just great at keeping players off balance. And Kerber, we know, is such a great retriever. But, she found it really difficult to know exactly what Ash was doing next. And with Ash's varying spin, she uses her heavy forehand. She's used her angle forehand incredibly well. The chip backhand's annoying the hell out of everyone at Wimbledon, which is what we want to see. And that's the key to Ash's success too, is just that she makes every single player, whether a baseliner, an attacking player, that her varied spin just makes them feel on the back foot, uncomfortable and off balance so often.
Part of what we see with Ash Barty, and we'll speak about the person a little bit more in a moment, is her demeanour. So incredibly calm, so level. How important is that to her game, her ability to stay level?
Oh, it's critical. I have to say, I'm sure there's moments before matches where, she should be feeling the pressure and the nerves like every single other player. But I guess that's what sets Ash Barty apart from the rest, and particularly right now, is that she has immense confidence in her own ability. And something that she does so much better, I think, than any other competitor out there is she's very quick to change gears. She's very quick to change her game when she needs to on the court. A lot of other players only have a very one-dimensional game. They've only got an A game. They can't revert back to a B and a C. But I think that's where, Ash's tennis IQ is just incredible. And the opportunities that I've had to sit on the side of the court with her when she's represented Australia, it's quite amazing to hear her on the side of the court basically, give commentary of what her opponent can't do, what they're feeling, where they're hitting the ball. It's quite remarkable. So she does use that in the moment on the spot, and that's why she's able to respond really well when her opponent lifts gears as well.
There's a case to be made at the moment that Ash Barty is our most popular Australian sports person right now. Who is Ash Barty, the person that you know, Alicia?
Well, she's just, she's pretty, everyone does ask me, what is she like? I said, well, she's just, it's going to really shock you, but she's really normal. She feels like you've known her for a long time. She feels like a friend. She feels like the next door neighbour that would walk your dog and put your bin out, like she's incredibly normal. But one thing I have to say about Ash, she's a very genuine person. She's a very thoughtful person. On the odd occasion, normally you get a phone call from tennis players when they want something. Ash out of the blue will call just to see how you're going and check in, which is just, I think it's a testament to her family and her upbringing as well. But I think too, in this crazy couple of years we've had, and we do see a lot of sporting stars or media personalities just get carried away with social media and promoting themselves. I mean, Ash is the opposite. She's quietly confident with herself and very dedicated to her sport too. And that's where I think she's a great balance in her life, probably a lot more than other athletes.
I'm not sure that's just tennis players who can call only when they want something, Alicia, but I'm sure they fall into that trap too. Naturally, a part of Ash's story is when she took a break from tennis and she went and played cricket. How concerned were you at that point that we lost the great talent of Ash Barty to the sport of tennis?
Yeah, I don't think I was concerned about losing her to tennis. I think I was definitely concerned about the way she was feeling, about playing a sport that she really loved, but not feeling, comfortable or not feeling well enough to be out on tour and competing. So to see a player who really enjoys the pure sport of tennis, but, struggling with a few of the outside components or elements like the media. I mean, let's just remember that Ash won Wimbledon when she was a 15-year-old. I mean, everyone else is, they're sitting grade 9 exams, and she was on the world stage. I think it was difficult for her to face up to the media as well. And I think all of that compounded over a couple of years. I think it was a really sensible break for Ash. And again, the maturity that she showed to take that break at that particular time, I mean, how amazing. It was only really in 2016, 2017 she dipped her toe back into tennis. And 2017 she was ranked outside 250 in doubles, ranked outside of 250 in singles. So within that 1 year, she broke into the top 20 in both disciplines. So, pretty new to the scene. Now she's our number one. I mean, it's an incredible rise. But good on her for taking that break and recognising and realising that's what she needed too. But I did hear she was pretty handy, though, with the cricket bat.
Well, she still plays cricket in her warm-ups, doesn't she, with her team? For those in the tennis know, was this always the ceiling for Ash Barty? Was she always expected to reach these lofty heights, or has this level even exceeded what some perhaps anticipated for her?
I'm sure it's exceeded a lot of people's expectations, and who knows, maybe Ash's as well. I'm not so sure, but I look back, on her early career, and I think one thing that's really helped her along with singles success is having a lot of doubles success early. I mean, at the age of 16, she'd already reached a doubles Grand Slam final. So she started winning. She partnered up with Casey Delacroix way back when. I think Ash was only 16, 17 at the time. And learnt to play a lot of finals, semi-finals, a lot of tough matches. And I think that helped her confidence. There's no question that's helped her on the singles court as well. Sam Stosur followed the same path as well, playing a lot of doubles, feeling success, feeling that sense of belonging, and then it transferring to the singles court. But, what a great time for tennis right now. I mean, we've got a number one in the world who just carries themselves so well. And I hope it helps our next generation with the style of tennis that Ash plays too. And for the weekend warrior, I hope they're watching Ash's slice backhand too and, trying to knife it through the line as well.
Well, I'm sure it does. And obviously a lot of people watching around Australia tonight, a lot of people listening nationwide on their radio here on the ABC. Alicia Mollick, the Billie Jean King Cup captain for Australia, chatting to us here on the build-up to Ash Barty's Wimbledon final. I guess I'll get you to expand on that. What does it mean, do you think, for the next generation of tennis and women's tennis here in Australia then, Alicia?
Well, it's someone to look up to. It's someone to want to be like, to play like. And if Ash Barty can do it, our next generation, our young juniors can do it. And that's what Ash gives us of herself too. She does practice with the juniors back home in Brisbane at certain times when has her training block. So I think it provides inspiration and that can-do attitude. And I hope it also lifts our other Australian players as well. Ash is very giving with her time, and I have no question, no doubt that it helped Isla get to the quarterfinal too. But we've got a great champion at the moment. We should embrace it. Get along for the ride. For those people out there that don't watch much tennis, try and tune in because you will not be disappointed. We've got a real champion, on the horizon right now, and we should enjoy every single moment that we get to see her play, Ben.
And we'll pay our respects to Karolina Pliskova, who she comes up against tonight. What does Ash have to be wary of against Pliskova?
Yeah, well, Pliskova plays a very big game. She's a great returner, and I guess given her height, she's taller than 6 foot, so she's pretty rangy, and that's why she's so good at returning the ball. She's immense timing, but at the same time, she's got a great serve. So really important for Ash tonight to get a high percentage of returns in play. And I think given that the courts have had 2 weeks of play on them too, occasionally you are getting that ball that skids through or that bad bounce. So I think if Ash can accumulate a lot of pressure on the Pliskova serve, I think that's incredibly important. And likewise, just try and move her. She's a player that likes tracking the baseline. I mean, she doesn't mind moving forward, but, it's not her favourite thing. So I think we can expect sort of a lot of chipping around for Ash. But Ash has a great record against her, but Pliskova's a big-time player, a big hitter. No doubt she'll be nervous. I think both of them will be. This will be they're both going for their first Wimbledon, but I think Ash is going to have the variety, though, once again, Ben, just to really upset Pliskova.
Have you spoken to Ash in the last couple of days or throughout the tournament?
No, not in the last couple of days. No, we've messaged quite a bit, and I think, I guess, given the demands that she's got going over there, we remain in touch, and also with her physio and her coach as well. But she's in great spirits, and I think she's feeling on top of the world right now. And I think she said herself, mentioned to me that last match was one of the best ones she's played. So, if Ash is saying that herself, then that means a hell of a lot. So, but she'll want things as normal. So everything exactly the same. And I'm sure, you don't sort of want to get in the middle of it all. But she's also called out her team. Craig Tyers has done an amazing job. Mel Amazzolo is over there, her fitness trainer as well. So, a really small team, but gee whiz, they've done a great job and helped her get to this point.
And I love seeing her partner, Gary, who's always wearing his Liverpool kit. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Gary, yeah.
He's always got a Liverpool shirt or a Liverpool hat on, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm right on board with Gary. Hey, last one, Alicia. Really appreciate your time. Most of us mere mortals could only dream of being in the Wimbledon locker room. That famous walk from the locker room onto centre court. The famous poem by Rudyard Kipling, If, that is imprinted on the wall. What will they experience as they take that walk?
Well, I think, I guess to the listeners who maybe aren't so familiar with Wimbledon, you're right. The walk through to centre court is through the main clubhouse. So it is a general tennis club. There are members. So that you do walk past the members' locker room and the dining room, through the hallway, through the past champions, through all the old memorabilia, the past champions, their winners and replicas of their trophies. So I think the enormity of the occasion hits every single player before they even enter the court. There's a lot of silence. It's purely just the two players walking through the corridors before they enter centre court. So, and it's a grand stadium. There's beautiful, flower pots everywhere, and the ivy, the clock. It's quite iconic. And I know for a fact it's a tournament that Ash has always, dreamed about. She loves grass. It's she still says she gets goosebumps every time that she walks into the stadium, let alone through the middle of the clubhouse. But it's the tradition that you just can't replace, and I'm sure the players will feel that. I think they'll be walked out there, their bags will be carried for them, but yeah, what an occasion. It'll be incredible, so don't miss it. Make sure you've got your TV on. I can't wait.
Yeah, we can't wait either. Alicia, really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for taking some time to have a chat to us, particularly while you're having a little getaway before you've got a little bit of work to do. Confidence level and nervousness as I let you go.
Yeah, it looks such a pleasure to join you. But, I think Ash is playing too well maybe to not win this one. And, I wish her the best, but I'll be watching. I don't really feel like I need to cross my fingers for this one. I'm quietly confident, Ben.
Alicia Mollick with us here on ABC Sport as we count down to Ash Barty and Karolina Pliskova, not too far away from getting started. We're about 15 minutes, I reckon, on the button from the first serve between Aussie Ash and Pliskova.
Surprise! There's good surprises.
Oh, thanks, guys.
And bad surprises.
Make me the happiest man alive.
No.
Oh.
Like that. Look, go for the good surprises, friends. Good surprises only. Here's one, ABC iView. It's filled with jaw-dropping comedy, eye-popping drama, and heaps of mind-blowing television. Download the app now on your phone, tablet or smart TV. ABC iView. Don't be surprised if you're surprised.
The 2021 Wimbledon Women's Final, live on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Of course, a great part of what we're witnessing tonight is the fact that it is the 50-year anniversary after Yvonne Goolagong Cawley's first. And I've spoken a lot about it, but let's take you back to 1971 when a 19-year-old, Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley was able to win Wimbledon.
Second one from the right-hand court is a let.
Second service.
Again, tentative tennis, feeling for it. Second one is good. A forehand return by Goolagong. Court, a backhand down the centre. Goolagong, a forehand down the line. Deep, a backhand there. Forehand stop shot. Court races up, gets a lob, a smash by Goolagong. Court gets it back. A forehand down the line is in, I think. Fourth match point if it was in.
Advantage, Miss Goolagong.
Indeed it was. Fourth match point against Court. From the left-hand court, she serves too long. Now, what will this one be? She's got to keep it inside that service box. Second one, it's a double. It's a double, that's
So that was the moment that Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley, just Yvonne Goolagong at that stage, was able to defeat Margaret Court in an All-Australian final back in 1971, 50 years ago. And, of course, so much of tonight in Ash lives through that moment. She's, of course, wearing a special replica of the dress that was worn by Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley back then in 1971, the Ted Tingley designed dress. Now, Yvonne Goolagong, in the lead-up to this Wimbledon, was asked about that very special dress.
Oh, it was my favourite. It was a scallop dress, scalloped around the bottom, had buttons up there, and it was scalloped around the sleeves. And I asked Ted Tingley to make me a scallop dress, and he made it, and I wore it more than any other dress, so I wore it in the final. So it was my favourite.
She also spoke about Ash Barty wanting to wear the dress and what it means to her.
Just blows my mind. The first thing I'd think, well, I don't want to mess up your routine or anything and wear the dresses and so on, but obviously that's what she really wants to do. And I thought, oh, what a wonderful thing to do, wonderful honour, for me. It's fantastic.
And why was it important for Ash to wear the dress? Why did you want to wear it, Ash?
It's a really special anniversary for Yvonne. It's her 50th anniversary since she won her first title here, and I think for me in particular it's a really special stepping stone in our heritage and in our culture, and for me to be able to wear an outfit inspired by her iconic dress is something really special. And when we had the idea and I called her and asked her if it would be okay if I could wear a dress that was inspired by hers, that was really important for me to know that she was comfortable with it, because it is such an iconic dress and I can't wait to wear my version of it and hopefully pave the path for the next generation of young Indigenous youth to come through.
And wouldn't it be something in NAIDOC Week, the 2021 theme of Hill Country, if Ash Barty, a Narragaow woman, could win Wimbledon and follow in the footsteps of Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley, a Wiradjuri woman from 1971, 50 years on. That would be something very, very special. Just quickly as well, we've already had a win today, us Australians. Dylan Alcott has defeated Sam Schroeder in the quad wheelchair singles final, 6-2, 6-2. So 3 from 3 in the slams this year for Dylan Alcott. He has kept alive his dreams of a golden slam in which he wins all 4 of the majors this year, as well as the Paralympics gold. So Dylan Alcott just continues on with how he's tracking in 2021. Hopefully it's 2 from 2 a little bit later on this evening. Right now, though, we can cross to the All England Club. And Jacqueline Magnay is a journalist, a tennis journalist for the Australian newspaper. She is over there in London. Very excited, I'm sure. Jacqueline, hello to you in London.
Hello, how are you? It's such an exciting day for Australia, isn't it? And let me tell you, there are some Australian fans here who are also very excited. I've seen a few flags, a few Australian hats, but everyone's just really pumped for Ash, and we just hope that she can bring her best game, and we know that it's just going to be really, really exciting. It's starting to rain here. It's been raining most of the morning, just that really light, annoying drizzle. So the covers have been on. And of course they're looking at the weather to see whether to keep the roof on or not. It would have been lovely if it had been a bright sunny day. Unfortunately, it's not. It's very grey and overcast. But I don't think that will really worry Ash at all. She's just so single-minded and focused that it wouldn't matter what kind of weather it was. She would adapt quite well.
Yeah, you're the envy of so many, Jacqueline, the fact that you'll get to be there at centre court today to watch Ash. You mentioned a lot of Aussie expats. I imagine they're supporting Ash, but the neutral, what level of support will Ash have from the neutral tonight on centre court?
I think Ash will have a lot of fans because of her game. They're real aficionados of the game here, and they really appreciate Ash's variety and her skill on the court. The fact that she mixes things up, she'll just put in that amazing forehand cross court, and then she'll just do the little backhand slice, and the crowd love that. Whereas with Pliskova, she's really much a power server. It's all about strength and just blasting the opposition off the court. So it's very much different styles of play, but I think the crowd just instinctively really appreciate Ash's style of play. She's beautiful and elegant on the court, and they love that. So I think that they will get behind her. A lot depends, they tend to swing behind the underdog too. So if the match seems to be going very strongly one particular way, the court will the crowd will really rally behind the underdog so that they can get a longer match to watch and stay longer and enjoy the tennis.
Jacqueline, eyes often turn to the Royal Box at Wimbledon. Which Royals will be there today, if any?
Well, no, it'll be packed. Prince William will be there, and Kate. Now, Kate is the patron of the All England Tennis Club, so she will be very much front and centre. And the other day, Princess Eugenie was there with her husband, so there might be some other royals dotted around. I'm sure the cameras will pick that up for you at home. There's always celebrities, isn't there? You'll see a few football stars and soapy stars there. It'll be a big game. There's also a few Australian dignitaries going. For instance, the Queensland's representative over here will be there in the Royal Box. So you might see a couple of Aussies there as well that might try and have an Australian pin or an Australian scarf or something